Hello everybody, welcome to Matt's World. Today's video is going to be a little bit different to the norm. Today I'm going to be ranking every single Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade giant balloon ever made on a tier list ranging from S tier down to F tier. I'm sure you've all seen tier list videos before. I don't really need to go in depth on what a tier list video is, but the balloons I'm going to be considering for this list are the 245 giant balloons made. So no novelty balloons, no balloonicals, no floats, none of those things are going to be in this ranking, or else this video is going to be about 10 hours long. And to save the video from being about 6 hours long, I am going to be talking about some of the balloons, mainly the older ones, very briefly. I'm going to be ranking these balloons purely based on their design and the impact they've had on the parade as a whole. So if I don't talk about the balloon you want me to talk about a lot, I'm sorry. I just don't want the video to be about 3 hours long, I want to be able to edit this and get this out in an orderly time and fashion. If you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and subscribe. I'm aiming to get about 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That's my goal. But yes, this tier list template has been made by myself and it is linked in the description, publicly available if you wanted to make your own tier list of all the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade giant balloons. The tier list is linked below and publicly available. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the video. I'll see you guys in a bit.
So yes, S tier will be the balloons that are absolute parade classics that everybody remembers and everybody will remember if they're still in the parade and not retired yet. And then F tier are the ones that are just bad. You just don't want to see again, really. So without further ado, I'm just going to get this video started with the first balloon of the tier list, Big Turk. We started in 1928, that was the year the balloons were introduced. And Big Turk, he's nothing special really. I'm a bit of a Debbie Downer as this is the first one of the list, but he's going in F tier. Like he's just ugly. It's a little fat man on top of a gimpy horse. Like what is that meant to be? What is it meant to be? It's just a really strange. It's just you don't look back on 1928 and this isn't the first balloon you think of. Early Bird is next, and he's okay. I'll give him a D tier. I mean, as you can see with the running thing is, a lot of these early balloons are going to be in the bottom tiers, but they had to start somewhere, didn't they? So next is Giantess. Giantess, she has no legs. She's just arms and a head and a body. She was like on a truck. So it's just already we're not off to a great start. I mean, for uniqueness, I'm going to put her in E, but yeah. Now, Goldfish is next, and Goldfish is quite terrifying. Just look at him, he's so creepy. But out of the 1928 balloons, he's probably one of the better ones, so I'm going to stick him in C. Same with Hummingbird as well. Hummingbird is just a nice, clean, tall design. There's nothing really to complain about with these two, apart from Goldfish being a bit creepy. Sky Elephant is here, and Sky Elephant is just a ball with an elephant's head pretty much, and floppy little legs on the bottom. So I think I'm going to give Sky Elephant an E. I don't know, he's just nothing too crazy really. Sky Tiger, I think he goes in E tier as well. Wobbly Head goes in F. I'm sorry, it's just a circle with a painted face on. It's a very forgettable balloon. I don't know. I mean, the gimmick of it is it has like half a face on one side. Depending which side you look at it, it looks different. That's the gimmick of it, but it's just nothing. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. Moving on to 1929, we have Gobble the Turkey next, and Gobble the Turkey, but I'm going to give it a D. The design is alright for the time. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Horse and Rider, I'm going to give it an E. In fact, no, actually, that's a bit harsh. I'm going to give Horse and Rider a D as well, actually. I like the design of the horse. The rider is very small. Obviously, it's meant to look like a human riding a horse. And it's a bit cartoony. It's a bit unrealistic. Well, all the parade balloons are unrealistic. The balloons, for goodness sake, Matt. But yeah, anyway, Horse and Rider is a pretty cool balloon. But he's going in D because there are so many better ones. Lapdog is next. I think I'm going to give Lapdog an E. It's just like your generic dog design balloon. He's the first dog on the list, and he won't be the last, but I don't really know what to say about Lapdog. Same with Old Man Dragon. It's the first dragon on the list as well, and Old Man Dragon is just... It's kind of your first kind of like wiggle worm balloon where it's like loads of circles making up the body and then a head. I don't know. He just doesn't really stand out in this crowd. The Inspector is going in F tier, if I can even put him in there. The Inspector, he isn't really a balloon, like a typical giant balloon. There are like balloon elements to him, but he's mainly carried by his handlers. While his counterpart, the Cats and Jammer Kids, are like actual balloons. These guys have pretty cool designs. I'm going to stick them in C. They're alright for the time. Terrible Turk is next, and Terrible Turk I think I'm going to stick in D. It's just a fat man, innit? It's like, what else do I say? And next we have a balloon with a hilarious name, Boob McNut. Yes, that is his name, Boob McNut. Boob McNut is like a blimp with paintings on the side. It's very generic, not very creative. A lot of these 1930s early balloons are basically just shapes with the characters painted on the sides. So that's Joe Jinks, as well as Our Boarding House and Toonaville folks. I don't know which one's which, but I know both the names, and they're both going in F as well. The Goops, on the other hand, I'm going to stick in E. Again, they're just circles with faces, but they are based on actual characters, and they actually have a bit of uniqueness to each one, unlike these four that I've strung down in F. Next, we have Cat, and this was the first cat that they added to the Macy's parade, or at least in alphabetical order. Cat is going to go in C. It's cute. It's like he's got his little tongue sticking out of his mouth. He's a pretty cool design. He's a pretty cool cat, if you ask me. Hippopotamus, I'm also going to stick in C. I really like the detail of the hippo's face, how they've made it like a very cartoony design, and how it's a full balloon compared to a lot of the animal balloons we've already seen, where it's just part balloon, part just floppy fabric. Next we have Kitty. I believe this balloon's called Kitty. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, but Kitty is just another alright cat balloon. It's the same. It's very similar to the previous cat that we've seen, just with a slightly different design. But again, I'm going to stick it in C. It's nice and clean. It's simple. Next, we have Tiamat the Dragon, and here's a balloon of him floating away in the air. Here's a picture of him floating away in the air when they used to release the balloons into the wild after the parade. I'm going to stick him in D. I really like the shapes of him, and I really like his long tail and his long neck. They seem to, I don't know, he's got a unique shape to him. Tomcat is long, but I'm going to stick him in E. I just don't like how big his tail is. His tail's really just big. It's like, I don't know, it doesn't really look like a cat's tail. It looks more like a pestle and mortar tool than a tail. And then the rest of the design, it's like stuff we've already seen before in a way. Next we have Two-Headed Giant, the first two-headed balloon on our list, and he's a D. He's a solid design. He was like the tallest balloon ever made at the time. Yeah, he has two heads, so depending which way you look at it, obviously, you're going to see a different side of him. And next we have Andy the Alligator. I think I'm going to stick Andy in D. Compared to these balloons in C, I just think Andy's design isn't as memorable, and I don't know, he's just not stringing the same chords. Next we have Felix the Cat, the first licensed character ever in the parade. Well, he's claimed to be, but clearly with characters like Joe Jinks and that who are based on actual characters, Felix was not the first, but I guess these guys are just shapes with the characters painted on them, while Felix is like the first one modelled after an actual character. I think that's where that comes from. But I'm going to stick, Felix is going to be the first A tier. There's a reason why he's remembered and he came back in 2016. It's because, you know, his design is so cool, and yes, he was carried by wooden sticks rather than by strings, but I just think that adds to the charm. There aren't many of these giant balloons, if any, that others that are carried by wooden sticks. You know what I mean? And yeah, he came back in 2016, didn't he, for one of the anniversary parades, for the 90th anniversary parade. They brought Felix back, and he's a pretty cool cat. Next we have Fritz the Dachshund, the first Dachshund balloon in the parade. Fritz, I think he's going to go in, it's between C and D for me. But I think I'm going to chuck him in D, because yes, he's better than Lapdog, but there are better dog and Dachshund balloons to come. That's all I'll say, really. We have George the Giant Drum Major. He's just very generic. I'm sticking him in E. He's better than these in F, but he's just a bit boring. He's just a man with a drum suit. I don't know. Jerry the Pig, the first pig balloon, he's going to go in D. He's very small, he's very pig-like. He's a pretty alright design, I just don't think he's as good as the ones in C. Next we have Wily Redbird, who are famously called Willy Redbird in BB1, but yeah, it's Wily, obviously, not Willy. But anyway, Wily Redbird, I think he's going to go in C. He's just, I like his little pointy, little dinky face, and his big talons and his wings. He's the first bird that looks like he's actually flying down the route, rather than hummingbird and early bird, who are just shapes. He's like, they've made it look like wings where he's flying down the route in the air. Which I just really like his design. Next we have Gulliver the Gullible. I think I'm going to stick Gulliver in D. Gulliver is a bit of a strange case. He is recycled from the two-headed giant, I believe. He's very similar to the two-headed giant, but I just think the two-headed giant's better. But I do like the reason that he's in D instead of E. I do like how he's like elongated. He's like horizontal more than vertical, kind of. He's like curving upwards. I like that element to him. Next we have another elephant. And this elephant, I like this elephant, but I'm going to stick him in D. And I'm going to also stick monkey and rabbit in D as well. Oh, actually, no. I'm going to stick him in E, because these are supposed to be giant balloons, and they're not very big. I mean, I'm guessing these balloons that are already here have kind of set the standard. But these are like, I don't know, they're not as memorable as like Felix the cat. These are like being dragged across the floor pretty much. They're like, yeah, they're representations of animals, but I don't know, I just don't see the charm in these ones. Colicky Kid is next, meant to be a crying baby, but I do like the design. I think I'm going to stick him in C. It's just a very bizarre and unique balloon. I don't know, I like it. Here we have Tom the cat. No, not from Tom and Jerry. This is just a coincidence. Obviously, this balloon was made before Tom and Jerry was made. But Tom the cat, I just think his face is quite creepy, to be honest. I think I'm going to stick Tom the cat in E. He's not bad. I like his shapes and his proportions, but it's just the pattern of the stripes and the face. They kind of just put me off him, really. He's just not doing it for me. Eddie Cantor is going in E as well. The first balloon, one of the only balloons ever to be based off a real-life human, a real-life celebrity, but he's just kind of I don't know. I know it's meant to be a caricature of the real person, but his proportions are so large, like his legs and his thighs are so big, and it's just off-putting to look at. But now we move into 1934, where Disney decided to string in a load of balloons. Horace Horsecollar. I think I'm going to give Horace a C. He's a cool little dude. Mickey Mouse, the first Mickey Mouse ever, is going to go in A. This is a balloon classic, and the fact that Goodyear, this isn't even the original Mickey Mouse balloon. They made one already, but then when the warehouse set on fire, they had to make another one, like in a shorter amount of time. So the fact that this was even possible is very impressive. Pluto is going in F. Like, what is this? Why does Pluto have no eyes? Why is his head so big? Why does he have like claws coming out of his paws? He looks like a demon more than Pluto. It's just really odd. He's going in F. I do not like the Pluto balloon. Practical Pig is going in C as well. Pretty solid. The Big Bad Wolf is going in B. Our first B tier. He's nowhere near as good as these two, but I just like his design. I know he's obviously the Big Bad Wolf from the cartoons, the Disney cartoons, but I don't know. I just really like the detail on him with his overalls and his clothing, his gloves, and obviously his angry face. He's meant to be the Big Bad Wolf, and obviously his claws coming out of his feet. So yeah, he's pretty cool. Pretty cool design. Next, we have the 1935 Donald Duck, and I don't think I like him as much as Mickey Mouse. I think I'm going to stick him in D, and the reason I'm going to stick him in D is because he had to be removed from the parade quite early because there was a design flaw with his neck. His neck kept bending backwards, and they couldn't get his position right. I just didn't think they didn't think of that very well when they designed him with a long neck. And his face just looks off. It just doesn't look like Donald Duck. Like with Mickey Mouse here, he looks like Mickey Mouse. You can look at it and think that's Mickey Mouse, but people who don't really know Donald Duck, apart from his modern design, are going to look at this and think, well, they might think it's Donald Duck, but some people might not. He just looks a bit off-putting. Here we have Harpo Marx, based on Harpo Marx from the Marx Brothers, and he's going into E. He's not very. It's like he's meant to be a giant balloon, but he's not very large. He's very small. His design looks very generic compared to Eddie. I think this one's worse than Eddie, but he's better than all these in the bottom. Indian, F tier. It doesn't matter how good this Indian balloon's design is. He's literally a racist stereotype. If I put a racist stereotype anywhere other than F, I'm just going to get cancelled in the comments. I mean, I do like the detail of it, but it is racist, so I'm going to have to put it in F. I'm sorry. Here we have the happiest dog, which is just a dog's head coming out of a doghouse. I'm putting it in F. I don't like this balloon. He doesn't scream balloon to me. It's just like a head coming out of a house. It's just not a memorable design. I don't know. I just don't like it. Next we have Turkey. This turkey's going in F as well. It's just very boring compared to this turkey from 1929, which has loads of different shapes. This one is like, it's got a turkey's head and a turkey's neck, but then it's got like a generic bird's body. He just looks very boring. We have Father Knickerbocker next. Father Knickerbocker is going into, or wherever I put him. I'm going to put him in D because I like his clothing. I like his detail on his clothing. I like his hat. I really like his pose. And he's a very well designed balloon, but not as good as any of these above him. Next we have our first S tier, Morton the Nantucket Sea Monster. Now this guy is just something else. I believe he's the longest parade balloon ever, lengthwise, or he's one of the longest ever. And he was shipped outside of the parade one time to make the illusion of there being an actual sea monster in Nantucket, Massachusetts. That's where his name comes from, the Nantucket Sea Monster, because people believed that they were seeing an actual sea monster. But it turns out it was this balloon. He was repainted into red. I haven't included the red version on this list because it is the exact same, but instead of him being green, he's red. And I would also put it in S tier, to be honest. But yeah, Morton the Nantucket Sea Monster is our first S tier of the video. Two-headed pirate is going in D. I really like his club and the two heads. I like how he's got a very short, stumpy, bulky body like a pirate. Yeah, very well designed balloon, I think, but not as good as these in C again. Christmas Stocking is going in E. He's just a bit boring. He's not bad. He's just a bit boring. It's just a giant stocking with toys hanging out the top. It's a very tall balloon, yes, but he's just not feeling it for me. Next we have Officer SOS 13, who is a recycle of Father Knickerbocker, and I'm going to put him in C. I really like his design. I like how he's portrayed to be a police officer. I love the badge, the uniform he's wearing, how they've added a baton in his hand. Just like Father Knickerbocker, I like the pose of him pointing to the sky, like being an authority figure. I feel like it fits more with the officer balloon than the Father Knickerbocker balloon. With Father Knickerbocker, it's quite random, but with a police officer, obviously, that's a police officer kind of pose. But here we are with this creepy Pinocchio balloon. I'm sticking it in E because his design is unique. He's not bad. He's not like an F tier bad, but he's going in E just because he's very creepy. It's quite a disturbing balloon, really. Like, the nose is very off-putting with the giant nostrils as well. Ugh, yuck. No, I'm not a fan. Now we have the man on the flying trapeze, the first of many flying trapeze balloons. He doesn't really have a proper picture yet as of recording this, but I am going to stick him in F just because I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the flying trapeze set of balloons to begin with, so that's not a good start. But this one, it's like there's not much known about it. There isn't even an actual picture of it, so you can't even get a proper look at it, really, of how big and like the proportions of it. The figure on underneath the trapeze is quite big, but I don't know if this is just an exaggerated version on the newspaper. This one's quite confusing due to there not being an actual picture of it online. Next we have Ferdinand the Bull, based on the book, and Ferdinand, I think I'm going to put him in C. I really like that picture of him next to the real life cows. That's the only picture of him in colour that exists. But Ferdinand, I like how he's got a rose in his mouth to base him off the book. I like his long horns, his ears, just the overall shape and design of him. He's just a really clean design, and I like him. Little Man, Big Man's going in E. Just not really doing it for me. I love the idea that a tiny little man is strong enough to carry a giant man. I love that concept, but apart from Big Man's face, it's very, very basic, I think. The colours are very basic. He's just not screaming classic to me. Next is Uncle Sam. I'm going to stick Uncle Sam in B tier. I know he's meant to be like the stereotypical Yank of America, but his design, I really like it. It embodies America. It's like a proud representation of America, of the American flag mainly. I really like Uncle Sam. I believe he was the tallest balloon ever made at the time. I don't know, I just really like him. He's a really cool figure. And then we have Santa Claus, who I'm also going to put in B tier. This is the only Santa Claus balloon that's ever been a thing, because Santa's always traditionally been a figure on a float, hasn't he? He's been a person on a float, but in 1939 he was made as a giant balloon. So, and there's never been a Santa balloon. I wouldn't mind there being a Santa balloon. If they did a Santa balloon for the 100th parade, I'd get behind it, because, you know, Santa is a Macy's parade tradition. He's at the end of every parade. But they've never made another balloon of him. Next we have the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz, and the Tin Man is also going to go in B. Apart from his face is really weird, I really like his design and his pose, how he's meant to be obviously the Wizard of Oz character, and he was promoting the film at the time. I really like his design. The next balloon is a recycle of the Wizard of Oz, Clarence the Clown. Clarence the Clown is obviously the villain in my Balloon Battle series, which you can watch on my channel. But yeah, I'm going to stick him in D. He's very creepy. He's got a creepy face. He's in the exact same pose as the Tin Man. And I mean, I like his redesigned hat, but compared to the Tin Man, I just think Clarence is very, I don't know. He's just a bit creepy. Like a lot of the clown balloons are, but this one especially. It just screams evil supervillain, I suppose. We have the next hippopotamus, and I'm going to stick it in D as well. This hippo is a bit, I don't know what you'd call it. It isn't a very memorable design. I think I prefer this hippo to this hippo. I just think this hippo's proportions are very, he's very disproportionate. He's got obviously extremely short legs with a gigantic body and a gigantic head. But I just feel like the previous hippo's proportions are a lot better, and the face is a lot better on that one compared to this one, I think. Now we have the first Superman balloon, and I'm going to stick him in B. The first Superman, I like him. He's standing tall and proud, just like he does in the comic books. It's just a very cool balloon. I really like this. It's very vintage, screams old Superman. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Next we have another elephant, and this elephant I think I'm also going to stick in D. Not very memorable. Just compared to this elephant, I just think this elephant looks a lot nicer than this elephant. This elephant doesn't really have a lot of patterns. It's kind of just a solid colour. The ears aren't very big. He's got like a saddle on his back. He's kind of like a circus elephant, which I don't really condone circus elephants. They're just a sad story, really. But yeah, obviously they weren't considered that at the time, but oh well. This goldfish, I'm going to stick in C. I like the detail, how they've made it like a scaly fish, and they've done detail on his fins, and they've done detail on his face. I mean, the face is a bit boring, it's a bit of a generic fish face, but I really like this goldfish. I really like when balloons have a lot of detail, because as you can see, the balloons above seem to have like details about them, but the balloons in the bottom are kind of just basic and a bit boring. But this one is really nice. I really like how they made it like a detailed fish. Next we have Hugo the football hero, and he is a recycle of the Superman balloon. So I'm also going to put Hugo in B tier because it's pretty much the same, but the colours are different. Like they are meant to be two different characters, but I just really like this design of a balloon. I like how they've reworked it from Superman into an original character. It's just a nice balloon design. Sea Serpent is next, and I think I'm also going to put Sea Serpent in B tier. Sea Serpent, I really like his face, I really like his unique design. He's meant to be like a sea monster, a lot less creepy than Morton, but Morton's just an icon. The Sea Serpent is just, yeah, he's just a pretty cool balloon. I just really like his face, and I like the scales that run along his back. The detail is immaculate on this guy. Next we have Bobo the Hobo, and I'm going to stick him in D. Bobo is your generic clown balloon. I think Clarence is better, but and based off of that opinion, I'm sticking Bobo in E. He's just very, he's just not very memorable. He's just like your typical stereotypical clown balloon. But next we have the triple scoop ice cream cone, and I'm going to stick it in F. It's an ice cream cone. It's not got any personality. It's just an ice cream. It's considered a giant balloon. I mean, yeah, ice creams are great. Ice creams are nice. I don't like ice creams. They make my brain hurt, and they make my eyes hurt when I eat them really cold. So, I just do not like ice cream, unfortunately. That isn't basing this balloon, though. I mean, it's a nice balloon, don't get me wrong, but compared to everything else I've ranked, this ice cream cone is a bit, it doesn't make me feel anything, and balloons that don't really make me feel anything or make me feel disturbed are going in the bottom tier, unfortunately. Old Man Pumpkin is going in E. Old Man Pumpkin is, he's a cool little Halloween pumpkin, but obviously he doesn't match the Thanksgiving aspect. And yes, I like the detail of the grooves on the pumpkin, how he's meant to look like a carved Halloween pumpkin. I like the detail on the face and the little grooves, but it's just a very odd balloon. Considering what time of year this comes out, it comes out after Halloween. It's just very creepy and doesn't really fit the Thanksgiving holiday. Next we have the original design of Teddy Bear. I think this design is going to go in F. I do not like it. His eyes are just very small and creepy. I like the body pose, but the face is just very off-putting. Now we have the young man on the flying trapeze, and he's better than the previous one. He's the first one we can have a proper look at. I think this guy's going to go in D. I like the figure. I like the detail on the balloon above as well. He's just pretty solid. Candy cane is going in F as well. Again, yes, the candy cane balloon is a nice balloon, but when you're comparing it to giant balloons in this tier list, it's meant to be a giant balloon. It's kind of the same as ice cream cone. I don't really feel anything when I look at it. It's just a candy cane. It doesn't have any detail to it. It doesn't have a personality or a pose. It's just an object, and I can't find myself getting any feeling from it really. Anyway, we have Harold the baseball player, and straight away Harold is going in A. Harold the baseball player. Harold is like a traditional parade balloon. He's come back many times in recent years as novelty balloons, even long-running novelty balloons. But Harold the baseball player, obviously back then he wasn't called Harold, he was just called the baseball player, but I'm calling him Harold because that's kind of his retroactive name. But yes, there's a reason why he's been recreated so many times. He is a very unique balloon, really. Next, we have Panda Bear, which is a recycle of Teddy Bear, and this is a big improvement from Teddy Bear. It's the same balloon, but repainted into a panda. I'm going to give it C. It's like middle of the road. The colours are nice. I like how they kept the scarf, like they kept everything, but they've completely redesigned the face, and I just think this face is a huge improvement to this face. Next we have Pilgrim. Pilgrim was one of the balloons in the Miracle on 34th Street film, and I'm going to give him D. I like his colours, the orange and yellow contrast well. I like the detail, I like the hat, I like his little happy face, but I just think these balloons above it are better than him. I like how he's holding a musket. You don't like a gun. You don't see parade balloons ever holding like realistic weapons. So that's kind of like, if he didn't have any of these traits, I would put it in E or F. But yeah, Pilgrims are cool. Below. Next we have the Comical Cop, which is a recycle of the baseball player. This one I think I'm going to put in C. I just think the baseball player and the fireman are more iconic than the cop, in my opinion. But the cop is a really cool design. Next, we have the gnome. And obviously, it was recreated as novelty balloons. And I think I'm going to stick the gnome in C as well. I really like how he's obviously meant to be very, like, he doesn't look creepy. He's very short. He's got very good facial proportions. His clothing design is really nice. And his hat, his pointy hat with the Macy star, is a pretty cool addition. And I really like his pointy ears. I don't know, he's just a really well designed balloon. No wonder he came back as novelty balloons in recent years. I'm sticking him in C. Next we have the pirate. Now this pirate balloon is really clean and really nice. I'm sticking him in B. He's a recycle of the Pilgrim, but he's much better than the Pilgrim in nearly every way. The peg leg is a really cool addition. The pirate weapon, I believe it's still the musket, but just painted in more pirate colours. And the pirate uniform with all the detail and his face, and they removed the hat and replaced it with like a pirate hairpiece. He's just a much better design than Pilgrim. I just really like this pirate. I really love the colours. He's very striking. You look at it and think, oh, he's a really nice balloon, him. You know. But yeah, pirate is going in B. Right, the fireman is also going in B. I really like the fireman's design, and there's a reason why Harold the Fireman came back in 1996 as a novelty balloon and stayed in the parade for a very, very long time. The fireman is quite an iconic design as well. Again, it's the third recycle of the baseball player. I just really like his design. I like his face. I like how he's got fireman's uniform on and a fireman's hat. I like the detail on the fireman's hat as well, and that how he's pulled by firemen, or at least the novelty balloon was. So in that case, I do really like this balloon. Now we have the monkey on the flying trapeze, and this is a recycle of the man on the flying trapeze, but I'm going to stick it in E tier because they haven't done anything new with his with the actual balloon of the trapeze. They've kind of just, well, it's the exact same as the old one. Obviously, I like the old one, but if they'd have repainted it slightly and made it an original design rather than just reusing the... It's kind of just, yeah, it's just the same as the young man, but with a monkey figure on instead. The monkey figure isn't really striking either. He's kind of just there. I don't know. Not feeling it. Anyway, we've got the crocodile, and I think crocodile's going in C. I really like it, how he's designed. I like how he's meant to be a long, spiky, pointy crocodile with, it's like rounded but pointy at the same time. His fingers are pointy. His eyes are a unique shape. Face he's pulling is unique. His pose is, well, like a crocodile. He's just a pretty cool balloon design. I like it. It's going in C. Next we have the Dachshund, and Dachshund is going into S tier. I know I called Fritz Dachshund, meant to say Fritz the Dachshund, but Dachshund is a parade classic. I love the colour scheme, I love his cute face, I love his little floppy ears, his curved belly like an actual dachshund. I like how it's modelled after a real dachshund, but it's obviously not realistic. I much prefer this design compared to Fritz, and I just really like it. It's a parade classic, and there's a reason why it's come back as novelties over the years. He's just really nice. He's a really nice balloon. I'm going to give Dachshund an S. Next we have Howdy Doody on the Flying Trapeze, an obscure NBC show, another flying trapeze, I really like the design of the balloon, but the figure is kind of creepy. If it was just the figure on its own, it would be an F, but I'm going to stick him in E because the pattern on the balloon kind of carries it out of F. But yeah, it appeared once, and I'm glad it only appeared once. Hobo Clown is next. Hobo Clown, I think, is better designed than Bobo the Hobo, but I'm still going to put him in D. Hobo Clown is, I don't know, I like the polka dot pattern with the 2 buttons. I like how his face is more like a clown, like, rather than just a creepy clown. It's not as detailed, it's kind of just there. It's just, he's an alright design. Next we have the 1949 teddy bear, recycled from Panda Bear, and this teddy bear is also going in C. Very big improvement from his original design. I really like his face. He's got a goofy little boz-eyed face. It's pretty cool. They've repainted his scarf again. The colour scheme of him is a lot better. It's just very much. It's a very much better. It's a huge improvement to the original teddy bear. Now we have Rainbow Trout, who has come back as the flying fish a few times as a novelty. I don't really like the balloon's facial design, so I'm going to give it D. I like the detail again on the fins and the pattern on the sides, but his face, like his mouth, just looks weird. It just doesn't really look like a mouth. I know it's meant to look like a fish. I feel like they could have designed his mouth in a way that doesn't look so circular and like, well, I'll just say something else. It's up to your interpretation, but yeah, I'm going to stick him in D. Next we have Toy Soldier, who's also going in D. I just think this design isn't striking. It doesn't resonate with me like the ones above. He's kind of just, well, he's just based on a toy soldier, like a nutcracker, isn't he? And he's just, I don't know. Obviously he's got the red M for Macy's, that's cool. He's got red pants, and he's got a grey jacket. I just think the colours are a bit like, they've gone with a reddy orange along with grey and black. Those colours, they're like the most opposite colours you could think of to put in one design. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of him. Next we have Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse is going into A. It's a really nice design based on the cartoon character of Mighty Mouse, one of the 1950s icons. I don't think he's as good as Dachshund and Morton, but I think he's on the same level as the 3 that were already in A tier before I added him. I really like his pose. I like how he's so happy to be flying down the Macy's parade route on Thanksgiving Day. It's just a really cool balloon. It was one of the longer running balloons in the 1950s, and yes, very, very good balloon. And obviously he had his accident in his last year as well, which is like one of the first bigger accidents that happened in the parade's history. So there's that as well. Next is Spaceman, and this Spaceman, I'm going to have to put him in D. He's just very long and horizontal, and he's not really got a pose to him. He's kind of got a rocket pack, and he's just standing straight, or like horizontally down. It's like he's flying down the route with his jetpack, but he's not really in a pose. He's not really waving. He's kind of just there. He's looking ahead. He doesn't really have a face, like a striking face. He's kind of just like a generic man in a spacesuit. I'm not feeling it with Spaceman. Now we have the 1952 design of the teddy bear with the big yellow eyes. The 1949 teddy bear is better. This is the last time the teddy bear balloon was recycled. This is the 4th time it was recycled. But I think I'm going to stick it in E because it's pretty much similar to the 1949, but the eyes are different, as you can tell, and it's better than this one for sure, but I'm still not feeling it, to be perfectly honest. Now we have the Dachshund Recycle, that's going in F. This version of the Dachshund is just completely different to this one, even though it's a recycle, and the shapes are the same. It's like, obviously the shape design is the same as this one. I still like that, but his face is kind of creepy. He's not smiling anymore. He's not looking down at the audience, at the crowd anymore. He's kind of just, I don't know. It's like the personality and charm that this balloon has is gone with this one. I don't know. I Just don't like it. Next, we have a recreation of rainbow trout, the goldfish with pinkfish fins, which I think is worse than rainbow trout, so I'm going to stick it in E. I say it's worse, which I think is better than rainbow trout, but I'm still going to stick it in D. I do like the scaly design. It's still got the detail on all its fins, but again, it's got the same mouth. It's like got the fish mouth with a smile, which I don't get why they've done that. The eyes are smaller, have a better proportion. He's got like a rosy cheeks, but again, I'm just not the biggest fan of just how it's got like a mouth, a fish mouth with a smile. It's just, that's a bit odd. Now we have the Hobo Clown Recycle with the Greatest Show on Earth promotion on the front. I think this one is actually better than the original Hobo Clown. It has a lot more detail, it has a nicer face, it has nicer colours. I'm going to stick it in C. I think out of all the clown balloons on this list, as in the original clown characters, this one is the best one. Even his shoes are better. The shoes are better, the detail, the pattern's better, and the face is better with the hat. It's just a big improvement over the original Hobo Clown. Now we have Gorgeous Gobbler, and this is a 1950s icon. Ran for quite a while in the late 50s and early 60s, and there was that one year where it was just headless. But definitely this is the best turkey balloon we've seen so far on the whole list. Definitely one of the best 1950s balloons. He's going into A. I just really like his nice little simple design, and obviously he came back as a novelty balloon in 2003 as a recreation. It's like you think of the 1950s balloons, and this one is pretty good. I really like the Gorgeous Gobbler. Now we have the Observer, which is just a guy in a hot air balloon. It's very boring, very basic, but I do like the pattern of the hot air balloon, so it is going in D. I like the colours, I like the little diamonds in between the colours. It's just really nice, really, really appealing to look at. Now we have Popeye, which ran in the late 50s and throughout the 1960s. This Popeye balloon is going in S. Very good depiction of the character, with his strong fists and his spinach arms and his face as well. It's definitely one of the first parade classics that was made. It was like one of the first long-running balloons that kind of came about. Popeye was the one that started the trend of balloons appearing for more than 10 years. But anyway, he was retired in the late 1960s, and he's just a very good balloon. Next we have Happy Dragon, who is also going to go into S tier. Happy Dragon is a parade classic. He is joint record holder with Bullwinkle, which I'll talk about in a second, for the most parade appearances for a balloon ever, and there were even plans to bring this balloon back in 2010, which were not approved by the City of New York as, 1, they deemed it too old and too unsafe, and 2, they felt like the balloon would get damaged by the utility vehicle system. But with the balloon appearing 23 times, it had proven time and time again that it was a very safe balloon to fly. Maybe it was just its age by 2010, as this balloon was obviously from 1960. Yes, Happy Dragon is definitely the most iconic original Macy's character ever created for the parade. Even in 1982, after the balloon was originally retired, they did a tribute montage to him. That's how iconic he was. He was just a really well-made balloon. The design is excellent. The eyes are really good. I like the little floppy tongue sticking out with his 2 dragon teeth. I like his little finger and toenails, and his wing pattern and the pattern along his back. His horns with his little dragon horn as well in the middle, and his smile that goes all the way across his face. Happy Dragon is a very, very nicely designed balloon. Probably one of the best balloons that Goodyear has ever done. One of the best original characters Macy's has ever done, and definitely one of my favourites for sure. Next, we have another icon, Bullwinkle J. Moose. He is also going in S tier. Like I said before, joint record holder for most appearances with Happy Dragon, but he's also the record holder for the most consecutive appearances for a balloon, as he appeared for 23 years back to back without any retirement breaks. While Happy Dragon had 2 retirement breaks in its history, Bullwinkle didn't have any. He just appeared every year. And he even made several appearances outside the parade as well, for store openings and even at the White House, which was pretty cool. Bullwinkle J. Moose, it became a tradition to see him every Thanksgiving. He was even repainted in the early 1980s by Kent Balloons as well, trying to keep him going for a few more years. But yeah, the design of him in a swimsuit to try and make his proportions more balloon-like is really cool. Just Bullwinkle in a swimsuit is quite iconic. There's a reason why this balloon appeared for 23 years consecutively. Such a well-designed balloon, and it just became a Thanksgiving tradition for him to appear. Now we have Donald Duck. Donald Duck debuted the year after Bullwinkle, and I think Donald is going to go in A. I do not think he's iconic as Happy Dragon, Bullwinkle and Popeye in terms of the balloons, but he's a really nicely designed balloon. The beak design is really good with his smile. His proportions are quite correct for his character, and his hat, he's got a big hat as well, kind of like this Donald Duck balloon is a very big improvement over the original Donald Duck. Yes, obviously this balloon appeared in 1984, the year after the Mickey Mouse balloon exploded the year before, so I guess they were planning to keep Mickey Mouse, until 1984, but with that balloon literally being destroyed, they decided to bring Donald back for one more year in 1984. And he made a few appearances in the Macy's Eggleston Christmas Parade as well. Yes, this balloon has seen quite a few appearances, and the 1972 parade is notable for being the only parade ever where Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck appeared in the same parade as giant balloons. But anyway, moving on, we have this flying trapeze balloon. F tier, boring, the worst balloon from the 1960s. Definitely a downgrade from the original Observer. It doesn't really look like a hot air balloon. It's obviously a guy on flying trapeze. The figure's quite basic. There's a reason why this didn't appear for very long. Just a bit boring. Now we have Dino. Dino is definitely an A tier balloon. Definitely an A tier. The Sinclair Oil Corporation mascot became a long-running balloon in the parade. Retired in the 1970s. He even had a retirement party at the Museum of Natural History. Now, balloons don't really get retirement parties. They kind of just disappear. So the fact that this balloon got one just shows how iconic it was. But the design compared to the S tiers, it's definitely an A tier design balloon. Now we have Elsie the cow. I think Elsie the cow, to be perfectly honest with you, is going to go into D tier. It's another flying trapeze balloon, yet again. I like how it was to promote a fair with the balloon designs, and the balloon messages were changed. She did appear for a few years, but it was just like, compared to the other balloons that were around in the 1960s, Elsie kind of just stuck out like a sore thumb, didn't really fit in with the rest. And she was kind of just a bit out of place, really. I don't know how else to describe it. She was pretty niche, and I don't know, compared to the 1960s balloons, the design doesn't really speak with me as much as those ones do. Next we have Linus the Lionhearted. Very obscure character. He's pretty much known for being a balloon in the parade. More people knew him for his Macy's Parade balloon than his actual character, to be perfectly honest. But in terms of his design, he's going in B tier. I love the detail of him. I love how he's got his little line hairs. He's got his face. The pose is a bit basic compared with some of the other balloons from the 1960s. He's pretty much just standing tall and looking straight. I like how his tail wraps around his foot. That's a pretty cool little addition to the balloon as well. But yeah, colour-wise and design-wise, it isn't as good as the other 1960s balloons, but he was in the parade for 20 consecutive years and did come back in 1991. He was a very iconic parade balloon for the time, so he is high in the tier list. He is going to be a B. Now we have Underdog. Underdog is definitely in A tier. Underdog is an icon of the parade balloons. He appeared in obviously that Coca-Cola advert, and he's been referenced many times. The pose of this balloon, the face, it was an iconic character in the late 1960s, and just the pose of the balloon of him flying down Broadway, and just, it's a pretty cool balloon. Another balloon that made 20 appearances in a row. To be honest with you, as the years went on, with Underdog specifically, you could kind of tell that he was being used way too much. He was just looking more and more beaten up as the years went on. Fair enough to Macy's for sticking with him and making sure he got to that big number 20 before retiring him, because he kind of went out with a whimper in 1984, then didn't even say anything about him on the telecast. He kind of just floated by. But I do really like the design of this balloon regardless. It's quite a unique balloon compared to many of the others in this video, so he's definitely going in A. Now we have Smokey Bear. Smokey Bear is also going to go in A. An iconic character in America, preventing forest fires and all that. He's obviously a forest fire prevention mascot, and it's great that he's back in the parade now as a novelty balloon. His original balloon is a really good design. I really like how tall he is. He's got a striking presence. He's got writing on his shovel. He's got a very detailed hat and face. But yeah, he's a very good designed balloon. I like Smokey Bear. Definitely goes in A tier. Now we have the late 1960s Superman. And to be honest, this is going to go in C tier. I can see why Macy's didn't keep this balloon in the parade after the sponsorship ended. Because with all these 1960s balloons, even when they were not being sponsored by their parent companies anymore, Macy's was just sponsoring them themselves to keep them in the parade. While they didn't do that with this Superman balloon. And obviously it's meant to be a recreation of the original Superman, but this one, he just looks off. His face just looks very small and very off. And the Superman badge is quite large. His chest is very round. I know it's meant to look like the Superman from the comics at the time, but he just looks off. It's just, when I think of Superman balloons, I either think of the original or the 1980 balloon, which I'll get to later. But this one, he's the worst out of the three Superman balloons, for sure. And he's just kind of average, really. Anyway, next we have the first of many Snoopies. Obviously Snoopy's had the most designs in the parade, but this design of Snoopy doesn't really look like Snoopy, does it? It just looks off compared to the actual Snoopy. But regardless, this design is good. I am going to put it in B. I just think there are better Snoopies. No, don't get me wrong. I really like this Snoopy balloon. I like the design of it. It's iconic. It appeared for a long time. It had two different designs. It was the aviator and the astronaut as well. It had two separate designs. It's a really good designed balloon, but I just think when it's based off of the actual character, it doesn't really look like the actual character. Does that make sense? That's the point I'm trying to make. If his face was more like the actual Snoopy, maybe it would be an A or S. Or like if his head, if he didn't look so anthropomorphic, which obviously the original Snoopy is a lot smaller. I think, I don't know, the proportions for me just aren't quite right. So it's going in B. Next we have Mickey Mouse. Obviously didn't get to debut in 1971 due to him and all the other balloons being grounded that year. This Mickey Mouse, do I like it more than this Mickey Mouse? Do I like it more than Donald? And the answer to both questions is no. But he is a good balloon, so I am going to stick it in B tier. I find it fascinating that when the balloon started appearing, his face was pink, like the character. But then as the years went on, his face just changed to white. And I do prefer him when he had a pink face, to be perfectly honest. The white face just doesn't do it for me. And the orange shirt as well. I just found the orange shirt a bit bizarre, because obviously Mickey never wears a shirt in any of the cartoons, really, much. I just thought it was a bit of a random thing to include on his balloon, like an orange shirt. A bit strange. But it's a good design balloon, don't get me wrong. I do like the balloon. But yeah, it's going in B. Next we have Smile. E. It's just a smiley face. I know it's meant to represent, obviously, a brand, a corporation, but it's just a smiley face. Obviously this was like emoji before emojis existed, but it's just a smiley face, and it's not even a good smiley face at that. The eyes are too small and the mouth is really long compared to how small the eyes are. It's like if the eyes were bigger and the mouth was closer to the eyes a little bit, with bigger eyes, then I might like it more. I might put it in D or C, but it's just, no. Compared to like these balloons from the 60s and 70s that were appearing at the same time as this, have set the standard very high. So yeah. Weeble is kind of the same. I don't really like the Weeble balloon. Obviously, when it was appearing, it just had accident after accident, didn't it? So they had to put a sand skirt on it. The sand skirt kind of ruins the illusion that it's a Weeble. It's like a Weeble with a big flappy bit hanging off it, but they had to do that to make the balloon more stable, because when it didn't have the sand skirt, it just kept crashing into lampposts and trees. But thankfully, in 1977, it managed to get to the end of the parade route without having an accident or being removed. It actually was featured on television, so I think if the sand skirt wasn't added, I would put it in D or C, but again, it's just like, I know it's meant to look like a Weeble toy, so it's got stuff painted on it, but a bit more detail would have been nice, but oh well. Now we have the Kermit the Frog balloon. Now this balloon was the last balloon to be made in the 1970s, and this guy is definitely going in S tier. He's just such an iconic balloon. When people think of Kermit, they think of this one, and they also think of his second one, which I'll get to in a bit, but obviously he was a very good addition to the parade, as by this time Macy's, well, Goodyear seemed to be creatively bankrupt when it came to making new balloons. They were making Weeble and Smile, and the last full character they made was Mickey, like in terms of different sections of a balloon, like a proper balloon, giant balloon for prey. So they came back swinging with Kermit, and this was also the first giant balloon ever to use a character model, which has become a tradition. Now every balloon that's made has a character model to base the design off, but Kermit was the first one to ever incorporate that. Before, all these balloons before it were designed based on sketches and drawings, but Kermit was designed based off a model, so that's a pretty cool innovation. And he appeared for a while. He appeared in the late 70s and throughout the 1980s, and made a couple of appearances in the early 1990s as well, and he was also the first Macy's Parade balloon ever allowed outside the United States when he went to England in 1979 to the Children's Greatest Party with Queen Elizabeth there as well. There's a lot of notable achievements, and obviously creation of Jim Henson, God bless his soul. Next we have Superman, or should I say last, because this is the last balloon to be made by Goodyear as the third Superman. This Superman, I'm going to stick it in A. Yeah, this balloon is the longest balloon to be made since World War II, with at 104 feet long. It was a monster of a balloon. It had a few accidents, mainly due to its length. It was just massive. Goodyear definitely went out with a bang with this one. Again, his face on this balloon is a lot better than the face on the 1966 balloon for sure. And I believe, and this Superman pose is more iconic than this Superman pose, I think, where he's like flying with his arms out. This pose is just a lot better. He's the best out of the three Supermen, in my opinion. It's my tier list. You can literally make your own if you disagree with me. So now we have the three Kemp balloons. First we have Olive Oyl, who is the tallest balloon made ever, and was also the first licensed female character to appear ever as well. I really like the Olive Oyl balloon. I'm going to stick her in B. I like the height of her. Obviously, at this point, you've got to think, in the early 1980s, there hadn't been many new characters added to the parade at all. And compared to like the veterans that were still appearing, like Bullwinkle and Underdog and at this point in time, and even Linus, she was looking so much brighter and more vibrant. These guys were looking worn out and overused at that point, but Olive Oyl was obviously a milestone balloon in history. She's not only the tallest, but she's also the first female licensed character to appear. Obviously there's been other females, but she's the first female of an actual like character that's not a Macy's original. But yes, I like the balloon's design. I like how tall it is. It's just a very nice design, in my opinion. Next, we have Woody Woodpecker, the GOAT of Kemp balloons. the absolute goat, the widest balloon ever. S. Woody Woodpecker. There's a reason why this balloon appeared for 15 years throughout pretty much all the 1980s and up to the mid-1990s. Woody Woodpecker was like the next Bullwinkle, where it was just appearing year after year after year and making so many appearances outside the parade at store openings and celebrations. This Woody Woodpecker balloon is just a beast. It's so wide. He's massive. Like, they don't make balloons this big anymore since the Cat in the Hat knocked that woman out. Seeing balloons like Woody Woodpecker in the parade was a breath of fresh air at the time. It's a shame that Goodyear declined making a Woody Woodpecker balloon in the 1970s, because if a Woody Woodpecker balloon debuted along with Mickey Mouse and Kermit the Frog, then, you know, who knows what would have happened. But better late than never. Woody came in and was just gleaming, glowing bright compared to the aging Bullwinkle and the aging Linus and Underdog at the time, and Snoopy. So, yes, a step in the right direction for Macy's for sure. It's just, obviously, the only thing that's incorrect about the balloon is that his feet are orange instead of yellow. The character's feet are yellow, aren't they? They're meant to be the same colour as his beak, but it doesn't really matter. The design is just iconic. And obviously, there was, I believe it was a Friends episode where the plot was that the Woody Woodpecker balloon was accidentally released into the air on Thanksgiving. This balloon is iconic. There's a reason why it appeared for so many years. It's the best of all the Kent balloons, and they only made 3. The third Kent balloon being Yogi Bear in 1983. And this design of Yogi is a bit basic. It's just him standing up. I'm going to put him in C. He's like kind of similar opinion to Superman. Obviously, Yogi Bear was an iconic show at the time. This is also the first Hanna-Barbera balloon to be included, compared to Olive Oil and Woody Woodpecker, who are also made by Kent Balloons. Yogi doesn't really have a lot of detail. He has a nice hat, he has his tie, but he's just brown. Like, he's a bit boring compared to the other 2 Kent balloons, but he's still cool. It's still cool that Yogi even got a balloon in the Macy's parade, and he appeared in the Eggleston Christmas parade as well. So that's a bonus. Next we have the original Garfield. Garfield, S tier. This Garfield balloon literally has a cameo in the new Garfield movie, and is a very important part of Garfield history. It appeared for so many years, with a break in between, not like consecutively. It did have a little absence in 1990 and 91. It seemed to have swapped places with Kermit in those years. Just the design is so good. It's like, obviously, a tubby fat cat with a nice little grin on his face, and he's just thinking, I just want to be at home eating lasagna. I don't even want to be here. It's just an iconic balloon. One of the most iconic Macy's Parade balloons ever. Probably one of the best designs of balloon, in my opinion, as well. I don't know. It's just, this Garfield balloon is just a really nice balloon. Then we have Raggedy Ann, who also debuted in the same year as Garfield, and I think I'm going to put Raggedy in C. I like her design, I like her pose, I like the detail on her dress and her apron and with her clothing, and I like the detail of her hair and her face, and it's a very nice balloon. These were the first 2 balloons, I forgot to mention, made by Raven Aerostar. They made the balloons up until 2020. They came out with a bang with these 2. The quality has stepped up so much now from the Goodyears and the Kemps. With Garfield and Raggedy, they definitely set the bar high. Raven came out of the gates swinging, for sure. Now we have Betty Boop, another female character appearing on her moon. Definitely S tier. This Betty Boop balloon is iconic. It was like, it had an on and off history. It was in the parade, then it wasn't for a few years, then it came back for a couple of years, then it was gone for a couple of years, then it was back for a couple of years, and then it was gone forever. But I really like the design of Betty Boop. I like how her face matches her old cartoon, but obviously she's in colour. Obviously most, if not all, the Betty Boop cartoons were in black and white, weren't they? So it was nice to see her sporting red and sitting on the moon. It was such a unique design of the time. I mean, the moon was speared a couple of times, it was deflated a couple of times, but most of the time, Betty Boop made it to the end of the route. She didn't once, she collapsed to the ground one time, but anyway, this Betty Boop balloon is a really nice design. I like the detail of the suit and the hat, how she's just holding a hat and other arms holding the moon, and the moon's just admiring her. It's just a really, really cute balloon. Now we have Baby Shamu. This may be a hot take, but he's going in D. We haven't had a D tier for a while, but Baby Shamu, I know it's based on the SeaWorld real-life equivalent, but he was quite small. He seemed to have problems with holding helium in some of his years, and I don't know. Like, compared to Raven Aerostar's other balloons so far, Shamu seems to have the least detail. He's kind of just... well, he's just a whale, isn't it? It's just like a whale balloon. I don't really know what else to say on Shamu. But then there's Humpty Dumpty, which is a recycle of Weeble, as you can see in the comparison picture here. Humpty Dumpty was a one-off. His leg was speared of helium and he's only a year. And I think I'm also going to put him in D. The sand skirt kind of suits Humpty Dumpty's design a bit more here, because it looks like it's coming off his clothes. Humpty, the face is just off. For Humpty Dumpty, this surprised, shocked expression is a bit strange in my opinion. His arms look bizarre. Obviously they've added features on to the original egg Weeble shape. His hat's nice. His arms are a bit weird. His hands are not the same colour as his body, and his legs are alright. The checkered pattern's kind of okay. He's just a D tier. Now we have Olive Oil and Sweet Pea, which is obviously a modified version of the original Olive Oil balloon, which this is now the tallest balloon ever. With the new features added to the balloon, like the bouquet and Sweet Pea, it took the balloon's total height to 102 feet tall, which is the tallest balloon ever in Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade history. But obviously it's exactly the same as Olive Oil, but now she's holding a bouquet of balloons and she's cradling her adopted son Sweet Pea in her arms. It's just a shame that her arm was torn off in her year, as you can see. She didn't come back after this. If it weren't for that, I would stick her in A. For the hell of it, I'm going to keep her in A. I like the Olive Oil and Sweet Pea balloon. It was a very unique balloon for the time, and it's the tallest balloon ever made for the parade ever. So for that distinction, she's going in A. And I do prefer this Sweet Pea Olive Oil over the original Olive Oil. Next we have the first Ronald McDonald balloon. This Ronald McDonald is very creepy. He's like a unique design. I like how they've done him upside down. There's not been an upside down balloon before or since. Has there been one since? No. He is quite unique. He's like the only balloon that's like upside down, where his feet are in the air and his head's near the ground. And he's holding balloons representing the McDonald's Corporation. I like it. If it weren't for the face, I think I would put it in A or S, but I think the face kind of drags it down a bit. The rest of the balloon's design, I love that it's upside down. It's just a unique design. I'm going to stick him in B. I really like it. Now we have Skater Snoopy, the first Snoopy balloon made since the original. This was kind of when the trend of making loads of different Snoopies started. Was from the late 80s onwards. This Snoopy is kind of, well, I prefer it to this Snoopy, but I think I'm still going to put it in B. Just because it only appeared for 1 year, and it does have the distinction of being the balloon that's flown the highest ever in the air. So, there's that. I just think this Snoopy's quite plain, kind of like this one, but his proportions, his face looks more like his face compared to this one. But obviously, the hat is very big and distracting, and the skates are like one solid colour. I can see why they improved this balloon the year after with this Snoopy and Woodstock balloon. But next is Snuggle Bear. Snuggle Bear's going to go in D. I'm sorry. I know Snuggle Bear appeared for a few years, quite a few years actually, in the late 1980s and up to the mid 1990s, but the face is quite off-putting. The design is just waving, sat in a stocking. I'm not a big fan of this Snuggle Bear balloon. It's quite creepy, it's quite basic. I'm just not the biggest fan of it. But in 1987 also came Spider-Man. Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man, is going in A. Very solid A tier balloon. I would put it in S. No, it's going in S. It's actually going in S. Before you start typing your hate comment, he's going in S. He was the official superhero balloon, kind of like the sequel to Superman. I know he's DC, but Superman was like the official superhero balloon for the longest time. But then Spider-Man came in and took that title away from him, bless him, but oh well. Spider-Man came, and this is the only... 1987 was the only year in Macy's history where Marvel and DC have both had characters appearing in the same year as giant balloons. Because Superman's last year was 1987. Spider-Man's first year was 1987. But anyway, I'm talking about Spider-Man, and I just love the pose. He's got his web under him. He had a camera under him as well, which showed on the broadcast, which was amazing. I love how his hands are like webbed, like spiders. That's a cool little detail that only someone like me would notice. I like his costume, his face. It's just his spider pose. It's just iconic. It's so good. I was originally going to put it in A because I think there are better balloons than him, but he's got to go in S. He's an absolute icon. He's on the same level as all of these. He's a classic. Now we move on to 1988, and 1988 is a stacked year for parade balloons. These 4 balloons are all classic. Like, I can't think of many things wrong with any of these. All the 1988 balloons are S tier. I'm sorry, they are. Let me just stick them in there. Big Bird, Pink Panther, Quick Bunny, and Snoopy and Woodstock, all 4 of them, all from the same year, are all S tiers. Let me explain why. Let's start with Big Bird. Big Bird came in from Sesame Street. Sesame Street was long running even in the 80s. It had been on for about a couple of decades, and this Big Bird balloon is a really nice horizontal design. It reflects the character wearing a nice little Thanksgiving scarf and hat, wearing an ACDC jumper, kind of reaching out to the crowd like he wants a hug. It's just a very well made balloon. It's just the design fits the character so well, and there's a reason why. Well, this was the longest running out of the 1988s. It ran from 1988 to 2000 consecutively. And the only reason it was retired was not because Sesame Workshop wanted to, but because the seams were wearing out and it was getting worn out. They had to retire it. They had no choice. They probably would have carried on making appearances in the mid 2000s if it could. But yeah, Big Bird. This Big Bird balloon is really, really cool. I like the design. This Pink Panther balloon is my favourite out of the 4 personally, but he's one of the tallest balloons ever, one of the longest ever as well, with his tail. He's got a long tail, long legs, long arms, long body, face. He's just massive. He's an absolute beast. You know, he's huge. But I just love the design. I love how he's wearing a lifeguard ring and swimming shorts, because obviously they were going with the Pink Panther's gimmick that he always turns up to the wrong thing wearing the wrong thing. He just wears the wrong kind of outfit for the situation, and that's what he's done. So he's the Macy's lifeguard, even though there's no water, which is hilarious. But yeah, it's a very clean balloon, very, very nice design, very tall. Med was a constant presence in the parade in the very late 80s and throughout the 1990s until 97. Pink Panther was always there. This Pink Panther balloon is a really good design, and it's a shame he's never come back in any form, because he's one of the greats in my opinion. Quick Bunny, I can see why he hasn't come back, because he's not really a very well-known character. Obviously, no, he is a known character. He's on the cereals from Nestle, like Nesquik, but he's a really nice balloon. I like him. The Quick Bunny is definitely going in S tier. I love his design, how he's got a drum, and he's in a drum major's outfit with a drum major's hat. It's quite a unique design. It's not like most of these where it's just the character. He's like wearing a parade themed outfit to make him distinct. He appeared all the way till 1999, and yeah, he was definitely a good long running balloon. And then last we have Snoopy and Woodstock, which is this Snoopy is a huge improvement over this Snoopy. Not just because of the accompaniment of Woodstock, but it's also got a better outfit. There's more detail on the skates. His face is like taking its proper shape. He's finally got his ears. He's wearing cute little earmuffs with a Macy's jumper, and Woodstock is accompanying him with a Macy's hat. And this design of Snoopy is just really, really good. One of the best Snoopy designs. The best one out of the 3 I've ranked so far. It's a shame that his nose was torn open in 95, but that was probably why he was retired. But anyway, Snoopy's here, and Snoopy and Woodstock are in S. 1989, we only saw one debut, and that was Bugs Bunny. This Bugs Bunny balloon, I really like it. It's a shame that so many characters debuted in the 90s, because that was pretty much the reason why they had to shelve Bugs Bunny. Because this balloon is a solid A-tier balloon. I like how it's sitting on a 50th anniversary star. I know the 50 was blurred out in 91 and 92, painted over, because his 50th birthday was 1989. That's why they brought him in, because it was his 50th birthday. But unfortunately, in 1989, he had an accident at the start of the parade, which meant he had to be removed. So he didn't even appear on his anniversary. So he appeared in 1990 with the 50, and then appeared for a couple more years and was retired. But he was only retired because there were so many giant balloons coming in the 1990s. They could never fit him back in the lineup. I wouldn't have even minded him coming back over Betty Boop, as much as I love Betty Boop. I think Bugs Bunny was kind of shafted, really, by the other characters just taking up his spot in the lineup all the time. And then he was shafted again by the new rules in 97. It like kind of sealed his fate. If those new rules didn't come in, he probably would have come back. Maybe like when Pink Panther would have originally retired, or Quick Bunny, they would have put Bugs Bunny back in, maybe. That's just speculation, but I like how he's chomping on his carrot. He's wearing a suit and a big top hat, riding a star. Very nice. This was another rejected Goodyear balloon, but anyway, he came eventually under Raven. 1990, this balloon was not made by Raven Aerostar's Bart Simpson. It's an iconic balloon, yes, but is it a very good design? Not really. I mean, the skateboard's great. Him in his pose, riding on his skateboard, no problem with that. The issue I have with him is his face. He's boz-eyed for a start. His smile ain't great. He just looks really creepy. Even the Simpsons themselves have acknowledged how creepy the balloon was in Treehouse of Horror episodes, specifically in the credits. I don't know, there's just something unsettling about this Bart Simpson balloon. He's not down here, he's not bad at all, but he was made by Bigger Than Life instead of Raven Aerostar. I believe if he was made by Raven Aerostar, he probably would have been a better design. And as well, the seams kept having errors, he kept losing helium, and they kept having to fix them last minute all the time. It was a bit problematic. Yeah, he's going in C. Clifford the Big Red Dog is next, going in A. I like how it's meant to be life-size, like this is how big Clifford is in real life, like according to the books. They did his exact height. Obviously this balloon appeared up until 96, and then from 2000 to 2004. We're in 1990 now. This is one of the oldest balloons that Macy still have, that can still hold helium, that's not been swatched. Because a lot of these older balloons obviously don't exist anymore, but Clifford is still around in the Macy's Parade studio. Is one of the oldest balloons that they still have, and I doubt he'll be swatched anytime soon. They still use him for flight tests. He was used as recently as 2017, I believe. I could be wrong. Anyway, this Clifford balloon, I really like the design. It's simple, and it's Scholastic cooked with this one when they sponsored him to appear. Now we have Baba the Elephant, the only new balloon from 1991. I'm putting him in D. He's not really memorable. He's a recycle of Smile. I do like the Macy's hot air balloon. He's meant to be riding a hot air balloon, isn't he? But I don't know. He only appeared till 1992. Can see why he was retired quite quickly. He's an obscure character. I just think compared to the rest of the 90s balloons, Baba doesn't really fit. He's kind of just there. Now we have Goofy, the only new balloon from 1992. And Goofy, I'm also going to stick in A. I like this Santa Goofy balloon. It's a shame Disney only sponsored it for 1 year. It was either Disney sponsored it for 1 year, or it was like Bugs Bunny, where there were so many characters coming in, they had to shaft him. I'm not too sure. But this Santa Goofy only appeared once. And I really love the design. It's Goofy being clumsy, going through a reef, trying to keep his Santa hat on, holding the reef, just embracing his goofiness, smiling at the crowd, standing tall. Just a really creative design for Goofy. It's a shame he's never come back in any way. Next, we're moving on to 93. We have Beethoven. This Beethoven balloon, I'm going to stick him in D. Just because I just think, I know he's meant to be a realistic dog, but the Beethoven balloon isn't really one that sticks out in the crowd. I mean, it was funny when they brought him back in 2008 and his face was just old and worn out. That was funny. Yeah, I don't know. I think the thing that's bugging me with Beethoven is it's lacking personality compared to some of the other balloons, especially the other 93 balloons. We have Izzy next, and I think I'm going to stick Izzy in C. She's an average balloon. She was the Olympic mascot for the Olympics that were held in America in 1996. That's why she was in the parade. She's an Olympic mascot wearing an Olympic torch. Obviously, the balloon was slightly redesigned in 1995 to fit that character's current design at the time. But anyway, I think I'm going to stick his E in C. Now we have Rex the dinosaur. He was the longest balloon in 1983 at 85 feet long. Was shortened when he smashed his head into a traffic light fixture, which just deflated his face. I think he's on the same level as Izzy, to be honest. He appeared once. I think it was mainly due to the film he was in being a box office flop and his accident as well. He was kind of just shoved back in the warehouse after that. He's kind of just generic, really. He's just a big dinosaur. Now we have the last balloon from '93, Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic, the original Sonic, is going in S. It's an icon. It is an absolute icon. Obviously, it had 3 accidents. It is joint with the Snoopy balloon, the original, for being removed the most times at 3. Unlike Snoopy, who made it to the finish line most years, because it appeared for like 15 or 16 years, Sonic only appeared for 5. So being removed 3 times in 5 years wasn't great. With the balloon being so top heavy, it did sway too much left to right and just always got itself into a mess. But the design of it, obviously, is him jumping off a spring, isn't it, from the video games. Really cool design. I really like this design of Sonic. And just the classic Sonic design in general is just such a nostalgic time for 90s kids and even 2000s kids like myself. I know Sonic's design changed in the late 90s, but the classic Sonic games were still around. But yeah, I really like him. He's vertical, he's got his long shoes, and he had 2 mouths as well, which obviously is a bit of only a problem if you're looking at the balloon from the front. But obviously if you're looking at it from side, it's that he's got a mouth on each side of him. That's why. But so that one side, if you're looking at it from one side, if it didn't have a mouth, it would just look odd. But anyway, Sonic is here and he's in S. Now we have Barney. This Barney balloon is obviously the most famous thing it ever did was get shredded. But I think I'm going to stick the original Barney in C. I like it. I do like this balloon. I like how he's just in his pose waving to the crowd. He's just an alright balloon, really. He's just average. He's just middle of the road, just like the rest of these. Cat in the Hat. Nah, I'm joking. Well, he should be down here, really, after what he did in '97, but I do like the design of him. I think I'm also going to put him in C, because I like how he's designed off the character. Very, very much resembles the character, the big hat, and he's riding a Seuss-mobile, being crazy, just like Dr. Seuss was at the time. Yeah, they're both middle of the road, these. They're in C tier. Cat in the Hat and Barney are in C tier. Now we move on to 1995, we have Dudley the Dragon. Now this balloon, obviously, is the only Macy's Parade balloon ever to never make it to Herald Square, but I'm sticking him in E. It's our first E tier in quite a while. He's just not very memorable, is he? The design is... I mean, he's holding balloons. That's nice. He's got his arm up. But it's like he never made it to the end. He just whimpered away. He was kind of just... I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Dudley. He doesn't strike me as like an icon like a lot of these balloons do. He's just kind of just... I don't know. He's just around, isn't he? I'm not the biggest fan of him. Same with Eben Bear. Like the balloons from 1995 is probably one of the weakest debuting years in a while. Eben Bear is also going in E. It's a recycle of Snuggle. No, actually, it's going in D. I like it on the same level as Snuggle. I like how they added a hat to him and a candy cane that he's holding in his hand, wearing a Christmas outfit. They made it a bit more Christmassy than Snuggle, but it's definitely not on the same level as Cat in the Hat. But yeah, Eben Bear, a Macy's original, but nowhere near an icon. Going in C tier. Then we have Sky Dancer. I think Sky Dancer goes in D as well, you know. Sky Dancer is a bit, I don't know, she's just a bit boring. It's like your typical girly... Well, it's obviously based off of the Sky Dancing toy line, isn't it? But she's very, bit boring. Obviously, she had her face peeled off in 1995, that's funny, but, she's just kind of just... I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Sky Dancer. She's kind of just in a bit of a generic pose for what the balloon is meant to be. Anyway, we have Rocky and Bullwinkle next. These two should have made more appearances, but they only made 3. Just Gene McFadden didn't seem to really favour this balloon compared to some of the others. I'm still going to stick it in A tier because the propeller moved around, like, which was a very unique feature of a balloon at the time, even to this day. I like how Rocky was included because with the original balloon there was going to be a smaller Rocky, but that never came to fruition. So Rocky finally got his big break in the parade, and I just like how Bullwinkle is kind of doing in another kind of swimming outfit. He's in like a diving swimming position, isn't he? Keeping up with the swimming theme from before. And then Rocky's obviously waving on Bullwinkle's back. It's a really solid balloon. Nice tribute to the original A tier. Next we have this Peter Rabbit balloon. In terms of the character, I think Peter Rabbit balloon is going to go in C. It represents the original character very well. I like how it looks like an illustration taken straight out of the book, with the detailing and the kind of artistic illustration art style that they went for. I really do like this Peter Rabbit balloon. Now we have Arthur. I think Arthur is also going to go in C. I really like his design, holding his books and waving to the crowd with his rucksack on. Definitely a children's icon. I think actually I'm going to put him in B. I like him more than these guys. Pretty good balloon, Arthur. I'm going to give him a B. Now we have Bumpy, one of the more unique balloons, the only Scandinavian balloon ever. I believe he's Scandinavian. He's going to go in C, as well as Peter Rabbit. Bumpy, I really like. The Swedish cow. Is he Swedish or Scandinavian? Anyway, someone in the comments will tell me. I really like his design. It's a shame he only appeared for 1 year, but I think Macy specifically saw the character like in the books and thought we really want to bring him to life, and they did a really good job at it. Next we have Petula Pig, a Macy's original. Again, C tier. Kind of average, middle of the road. One of the older balloons that Macy still has, regularly seen on test flight, but it's only been in the parade twice. It's only made it to Herald Square once because it was removed in '97 after the Cat in the Hat smacked that lamppost. I'm going to stick her in C. She's like average really, middle of the road. The Rugrats, definitely the best debuting balloon from 1997, definitely going in A tier. The first 3 character balloon ever, really nice balloon. It's like they've been pulled straight out of the cartoon. It's just a really cool iconic balloon, in my opinion. I do really like the Rugrats. I really like Spike's design. I got the boys riding on his back, Chucky and Tommy. Now we have Babe the Pig. This balloon only appeared once. It's a bit boring. It's a D tier. It's just a pig. Pink pig with a collar and tiny eyes and a smile and a little bit of hair. That's kind of it. That's all Babe has going for him, really. Babe is kind of just here. She only appeared once. I can see why she only appeared once. She's not really got a lot going for her, has she? Now we have Dexter from Dexter's Lab. Dexter, sorry Cartoon Network fans, Dexter's going in B. I don't think it's as good as the balloons in A. I think or S, but I do like him. I like his jetpacks. I like how he's based off the Cartoon Network character. I'm going to stick him in B. Now we have Maurice Sendak's Wild Thing. I'm going to stick Wild Thing in A. I really like the design. It's kind of abstract and obscure. Shame he had 2 accidents back to back in 98 and 99, but he reappeared in 2002 and 3, and he had no trouble in those years. Made it to Herald Square at long last, and it's just very distinct and unique. Like, you can tell all of these balloons in here are very different from each other, while these balloons down here are very samey and similar. Now we have Blue from Blue's Clues. Blue is going to go in C. I really like the blue balloon. I like the big muzzle. I like how I like her design. Very reminiscent of the Blue's Clues television series, which was very popular at the time. So yeah, C tier. Now we have Buzz the Honey Nut Cheerios Bee, also in C. I really like his design. Very good design, very good pose, holding the honey pot. Yeah, pretty cool balloon. Now we have Millennium Snoopy, the next Snoopy on the list. This Snoopy is going to go in B. He's flying horizontally throughout the parade route this time, with obviously a celebration hat on a horn to celebrate the upcoming millennium, hence the name Millennium Snoopy. But yeah, I really like this Snoopy. I think he's on par with this Snoopy and this Snoopy, so I'm going to place him in B. Now we have Band Leader Mickey. Band Leader Mickey only appeared once in 2000 to celebrate the new millennium, and Band Leader Mickey is going to go in B as well. I do like him. I like his band suit. I think with this Mickey, he's kind of on par with this Mickey. I have similar opinions of him, but I do prefer his outfit to this outfit. So yes, I do really like this band leader Mickey balloon waving down to the crowd. I like his band leader outfit based on Mickey Mouse Club. I just really like this balloon. Shame it only appeared once. Now we have Dragon Tail's Casey. Bit boring, but I like the detail. C tier. I like the detail on her horns and her outfit and the object she's holding and a smile on her face. Very nicely well made balloon. Now we have Ask Jeeves. Ask Jeeves is an odd case because obviously he was repainted in once. I think again C tier. It's kind of just like middle of the road, run of your mill. He was the first and so far only balloon to be based on a search engine mascot. But yeah, it's quite niche. I do like Jeeves. He's pretty cool. Now we have the second Ronald McDonald, and 2000. Every year since 2000, a Ronald McDonald balloon has appeared in the Macy's parade, like consecutively. He'll probably appear again in 2025. So consecutively for 25 years, he's appeared. This Ronald is going in B. No, it's not. It's going in A. I really like it. His face is a huge improvement from this Ronald, and I like his pose. He's like got his arms out. It's like he's jumping down the parade route. Really cool. And he's obviously representing McDonald's as a brand, isn't he? But I just think this design's a lot cleaner and sleeker as a balloon than this one. So yeah, A tier. I like how his stripes are thicker on his sleeves as well, and he's just got a more appealing face. Now we have the second Big Bird. This balloon was pretty much only made because the original had worn out by 2001. But this Big Bird, I'm going to stick it in C. I honestly think this Big Bird, the original, is just so much better. And his feathers are like more round and cutesy rather than the original where they're feathery and pointy like a bird. And he's obviously holding ABC symbols. His feet are thicker, which obviously they're like thick compared to the original where they're like quite thin and like actual Big Bird's feet. While this time, it's like he seems very thick compared to the original. He's like Big Bird if he was fattened up after eating several Thanksgiving turkeys. But anyway, he's going in C. Now we have Cheezosaurus Rex. He's a recycle of Dudley the Dragon, and it shows. I think I'm going to stick him, to be honest, in D. There's nothing that strikes me with this, probably because I'm not American. I don't know how I feel about him. He's got his camera, got a nice hat, and that's about it. I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about him. It doesn't seem to... I like the detail of the dots of like cheese holes on his body as well. Yeah, it's a bit basic. He kind of fits in the D category. Now we have Curious George. This balloon only appeared once, but I think he goes in C tier. I like it. I like his design. I like his long limbs, his long arms and legs. His little hat's cute. His little face is cute, and his pose, like he's curious, fits the character well. Now we have Jimmy Neutron. I think goes in the same tier as Curious George, to be honest. C tier, your average run-of-the-mill balloon, based very much off the caricature. He's not one that you'd think of going back to when you're thinking of Macy's Parade balloon, but it's a nice balloon nonetheless. Now we have the first Pikachu. This Pikachu, I think, goes in C. No, it doesn't. It goes in D. I don't like this Pikachu. I mean, I like it, but compared to the rest of the Pikachus, I think this one has just the most out there design. It's like he's jumping and floating down, obviously, but I just think there are so many better designs of Pikachu than this one. They had to start somewhere, but like it's kind of like with the first Ronald, where the first Ronald is the weakest, but most of the other Ronalds are better. It's kind of the same with this Pikachu. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Now we have Charlie Brown in the Elusive Football. Charlie Brown's first appearance in the parade. Charlie Brown and the Elusive Football is definitely going in C. I like his little pose, his tongue sticking out, trying to catch the football, running down the parade route in his iconic outfit with his shoes and everything. Pretty cool. I do like the Charlie Brown balloon. Now we have the second Kermit. The second Kermit is also going in S tier. It's our first S tier in a while. This Kermit's also going in S tier. This is probably the only time where you'll see two of the same character in the same tier. I just think this Kermit obviously looks more like Kermit than this Kermit. It's obviously in a more recognisable pose, the proportions are more accurate, the collar's better, the green is more like Kermit green. It just looks better than the original, but the original's iconic, so I've got to put this in the same tier as well. I really like this Kermit. There's a reason why it appeared for a lot of years in the 2000s and the early 2010s. Kermit is here. just being Kermit. Now we have Little Bill. Little Bill, oh, I think he goes in E tier. I don't like this design really. It's definitely not bad like any of these at the bottom, but I don't know. The less I say about Little Bill, the better. Mr. Monopoly's next, and Mr. Monopoly's going in C. He's cool. He's alright. He's winking at the crowd, holding his top hat, which is obviously the iconic feature of him. Obviously, Monopoly is a popular game around the world, so it was nice to see him be adapted for the parade. Now we have the next Garfield. I think this Garfield goes in C. It doesn't come anywhere close to this Garfield. But this Garfield is still nice. It's got the same face. The face is pretty much the same, with a bit less detail. It looks a bit more polished and shiny compared to this Garfield. I like how he's got Pookie in his hand, doing a thumbs up at the crowd. Yeah, this Garfield is alright. It's a C tier. Now we have Strike Up the Band Barney. I actually like the original Barney more than this one. I think this one goes in D, just because I just think changing the Barney balloon from this one was a bit unnecessary. Like, this one is like perfect for the character. It didn't really need to change, but Hey Entertainment like doing their own thing with everything they touch, don't they? So they had to make their own Barney. So yeah, he only appeared for 3 years, and I like his band I like his band hat, and I like his trumpet. Super Grover's next, and Super Grover is definitely going in C. I do like him. He's got a good pose. He's an interesting character, to say the least. Grover. I'm surprised he didn't have a balloon before, but yeah, this Grover is obviously an icon of one of his many forms. His most iconic form in the show, in being a superhero. So yeah, I do really like it. I like how his proportions, they're like bigger to fit a balloon rather than his smaller face that he used to have. Now here's the Chicken Little balloon. I'm not the biggest fan of this one. This one's also going in D. I just think it doesn't help that the design of Chicken Little as a character is a bit strange. Like, a lot of the character designs in that film are a bit strange. But yeah, he's a good balloon though. I'm not saying he's bad, but maybe D's a bit low. Maybe I'll put him in C actually. Yeah, I think I'm happier with that placement. Next we have Red and Yellow Brighten the Holidays. It's just the red and yellow M&Ms hanging out of a hot air balloon. But I don't really like this balloon. I'd much prefer it if it was like the M&Ms as bigger characters, like with each other, rather than them being really small in a hot air balloon. I just think the hot air balloon doesn't really fit the M&M's kind of motive here, but oh well. Now we have the original SpongeBob. This balloon definitely goes into A. The only reason it's not going into S is because its arms kept bending because they were so narrow, and it kept being out of position. Like, pretty much every year it was in the Macy's parade, it was always bent out of position, or the arms were deflated even. There was always something going wrong. I know Kermit had his arms bent a lot, but like with SpongeBob it was like more prominent, it was more noticeable, because it was like that all the time. He'd never had his arms straight up in the air, which is what the design was meant to be. But I do like the design. It's like obviously the classic season 2-3 SpongeBob design. I love, obviously it's the first square balloon ever, technically, and yeah, it's a really cool balloon. Obviously SpongeBob has appeared nearly every year since 2004, but yeah, this SpongeBob is definitely the best out of the three in my opinion. It's definitely going in A tier. Now we have Dora the Explorer. This Dora balloon, I like the balloon, it's going in C. Dora waving at the crowd with map and backpack on as well. No Boots the monkey. Would have been nice if it had a little Boots accompanying Dora. I think that would have bumped this up maybe to a B, but yeah, I like her. Dora the Explorer is going in C. Mr. Potato Head next. I do really like this balloon actually. I like how it's like all the features pop out. I like the actual toy. It looks like a giant toy. I like it. It's going to be. I think the plasticky look of the balloon suits this specific balloon very well, because obviously the original toy is like plastic, isn't it? I really like it. I like how he's holding a bottle. He's meant to be like healthy in quote marks, promoting healthy eating, because he's a potato and he's holding a protein shake. Jojo the Clown. I don't have much to say on Jojo other than he's an A tier. I know he's a classic character, but I'm not a fan of this balloon. It's a bit basic. I like the pattern on his clothes and his balls. That sounds weird out of context. I just think compared to the balloons above it, it's a bit meh. Scooby-Doo's next. I like the Scooby-Doo balloon. Scooby-Doo is going in B. I really like his design. I like how he's bounding down the parade route like a Great Dane, which is obviously what he's meant to be. But yeah, I really like the Scooby-Doo balloon. It's a really nice balloon. He's going in B. Now we have the 80th anniversary hot air balloon. It's a nice little tribute balloon for the 80th anniversary, but it's going in D tier. It's just a hot air balloon. It's nothing like outstanding for the Macy's parade, really, is it? Now we have the second Pikachu, and in my opinion, this is my favourite of the Pikachus. This Pikachu is definitely going in A. This Pikachu is a really nice balloon. I love how it's proportioned like the cartoon character, and even on the video game box arts. And the Pokeball is a nice addition, where it's chasing the Pokeball. I just really like this balloon design. It's really clean, it's slick, it's very curvy, like a balloon should be. It's really nice, it's really cute, it's adorable. It's going in here. Now, we have this Flying Ace Snoopy, and I'm not going to lie, this is my least favourite Snoopy so far, so I'm going to put him in C. I just think his face is quite small, his snout isn't as long as it should be, his body's quite stubby, and obviously the Snoopy balloons with hats just don't hit the same, do they, as the ones where his ears are out. The ears like add something to Snoopy's design, but when he's not got his ears, it kind of makes him a bit worse, I don't know why. I like his aviator design, I like his aviator hat, I like his binoculars and his scarf. But yeah, I just think the proportions are a bit off with this Snoopy compared to previous and future Snoopies. Now we have Abby Cadabby, probably my least favourite of the Muppet balloons. Definitely going in D. Abby Cadabby, the fact that they replaced a character iconic as Big Bird with Abby Cadabby is a bit of an insult to Big Bird, to be perfectly honest with you. She wasn't a mainstay, she didn't appear for very long, to about 3 years, and then she was gone. I don't know, it's just the pose. She's meant to obviously look like a fairy with a magic wand. I'm not a big fan of her. I'm not a big fan of Abby Cadabby compared to the other Muppet balloons. It's definitely my least favourite out of all the Muppet balloons. Now we have Shrek. Shrek's face is a bit off on this balloon, isn't it? Not like Shrek 5 teaser trailer off, but I think his eyes are a bit too small. They've kind of made it more look very balloony rather than like an ugly ogre. It's like uglier than the ugly in the films. It's like, I think I'm going to put him in C. I just can't put him any higher. I just think his face is a bit off. I think if his eyes were bigger and maybe his mouth was more like Shrek's smile, then maybe I would put it in B or A, but I'm not a biggest fan of this one. It's going in C. Now we have the original Hello Kitty. I think this one is also C tier. It's pretty average. It's quite smaller, but Hello Kitty is a small character, so that makes sense. I like the bow ties in her hair. I like how her face is pretty much exactly matching to the books and toys and whatever Hello Kitty came from. But yeah, I like Hello Kitty. Nice balloon. Buzz Lightyear is definitely an A tier balloon. This Buzz Lightyear balloon is really nice. I love the clear helmet. Obviously, in most of the films, he doesn't have his helmet on up, does he? When Buzz Lightyear realises he's not a space ranger, he doesn't really have his visor on, does he? Unless he's like thinks he's a space ranger, or it's one of the other Buzzers that thinks they're a space ranger. They have their plastic visor up, but I think they did it so that they could have a clear material over it and brag about that. But yeah, this balloon was a bit of a mainstay in the late 2000s and the early 2010s. Appeared for 6 years, and it appeared at D23 as well. So yeah, very, very cool balloon. I really like this Buzz Lightyear. It's going in here. Now we have Horton the Elephant. I'm not really... It's based more on the movie design of him rather than the Blue Sky character. I think if they'd have gone down... Not Blue Sky. What? Dr. Seuss character. I think if they went more with that, I would put it higher, but I'm going to put him in D. I love that he's holding the clover, but apart from that, this design doesn't really... It's giving me Abby Cadabby vibes. I'm not really the biggest fan of it. Now we have Smurf, the basic Smurf. I think the basic Smurf goes in C. It's just a Smurf. It's not meant to be any of the other Smurfs, like Brainy or like any of the mainline Smurfs, like Clumsy or any of them. He's just a Smurf. It's just a Smurf. You know what I mean? I like it. It's got a good pose. It looks like a cartoon Smurf. It's in C tier. Now we have the Pillsbury Doughboy. And I may as well rank the 2009 and 2013 Doughboys at the same time, because the design is exactly the same. Apart from a few little minor tweaks, they are the same design. These are both going in S. I just think they are the perfect design for the Pillsbury Doughboy character. I really like this design, where he's just small and squishy, and having his arms up, and he's like got his mouth open, and his little chef's hat, and his big belly that you poke, and he laughs. It's like they said at the time, the design is just perfect for the character, and there's a reason why they stuck with it for so long. Like, this balloon appeared from 2009 to 2013, this one appeared from 2014 to 2022, so in total, the Doughboy in this design appeared for 14 years straight. The design is perfect for the character. I just think, you know what I mean? It's just, there's a reason why this Doughboy was around for so long. It's just, the design is perfect. There's not a single thing I can critique about this balloon. Like, with the ones in A tier, there's something I can critique about them. But the ones in S, I can't think of anything to critique any of these, and that's with these Doughboys included. So yeah, they're both in S tier. Now we've got the next Ronald. This is a bit of a step down from the previous Ronald. His face is a bit too big. Well, his head's too small and his face is too large. His hair's very puffed up. He's wearing ice skates. I think he's going in C. I just think this Ronald and this Ronald are better than this Ronald. I'm not the biggest fan of this Ronald, to be honest. I think he's the worst out of the Ronalds. I'm not the biggest fan of him. Now we have Sailor Mickey. This is my favourite of the Mickeys. I love how he's riding an anchor. I love his cruise ship suit. I love the detail of his face. How he looks like a 3D version of the 2D drawing rather than just the 2D drawing. I love this Mickey. He's definitely... Ooh. Do I stick him in S? Or do I stick him in A? I'm sticking him in S. I don't care. This is my tier list. He's going in S. I love the detail on his face. I love the pose he's in. I love that he's riding an anchor. I love his sailor suit. I love how his ears just stick out of his hat. I just love this Mickey. I just love it. It's not like a random outfit like the second Mickey where he's wearing an orange shirt. This is like the Bandleader one, based on a version of Mickey. Obviously it's the Disney Cruise Line Mickey, but I just think this design is so unique and it's something we've not really seen before or since. He's got to go in S in my opinion. Now we have the second Spider-Man. This Spider-Man is a very similar design to the original, but he's got his web shooting hand now, rather than webbed hands. He's doing his web shooting pose. I think this Spider-Man also, it's either A or S for me. I think I'm going to put him in A because I do still prefer the original Spider-Man, to be perfectly honest with you, out of the Spider-Man. But yeah, this Spider-Man is really good. He's an A tier. Obviously he had his wrist ripped open in 1 year, but apart from that, he's flown perfectly. And I'm surprised he didn't appear for more years, but anyway, he's here. Spider-Man is an A. Now we have Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the first one. Probably my... no, it's not my least favourite. We'll get to my least favourite of the Diary of a Wimpy Kids later. I think he's a C. My brother absolutely loved the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. He literally has them all, and he used to read them all the time. He was obsessed. I was never into him, but I can see why he enjoyed them. But yeah, I think the balloon is a C tier. I like how he's holding his diary, and he's a bit wimpy. Well, he's a pretty cool design. Reflects the books very well, in my opinion. Now we have Po from Kung Fu Panda. Just something about this Po looks off. Like, his face is a bit too chubby, in my opinion. He doesn't have a chubby face, does he? Really. That's like of this proportion. I think I'm going to stick him in D. I'm not a big fan of this Po. I think the second Po is so much better than this Po. I'm just not a big fan of this Po, to be honest. I just think the ears are too long. The eyes are too far apart. The mouth is too big. It's just the face, and it's just the face that's off. And the Kung Fu pose isn't really a good Kung Fu pose either. It's not the best. Now we have Julius the Sock Monkey. It's just whatever. It's just D tier for me. He's flying in a jetpack going down the route. He's a bit of a whatever character, and he's a whatever balloon. I don't really have much to say on him. He's He's just on the same level as the others in here. Now we have the second Sonic. Not as good as the first Sonic, but he's up here. He's in A. It's a very nice balloon, very good design, reflects the modern Sonic design very well. I really like this balloon. His pose, it's like he's running down the parade route, obviously nowhere near as fast as he normally runs, but yeah, he's definitely in A tier, the second Sonic, 100%. Now we have the second Hello Kitty, and to be honest, I prefer the first Hello Kitty, to be honest. The first Hello Kitty feels more like a giant balloon than this one. It's like it's tiny in a tiny little plane, it's very dinky, very small. I'm sticking it in D. I honestly prefer the detail and the size of the original Hello Kitty balloon rather than the one where it's sat in a tiny aeroplane. I do like the bow, like how the propeller on the plane matches the bow though. That's a nice little detail, but yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the second Hello Kitty balloon. Now we have Papa Smurf, a huge improvement over the Smurf balloon. It's based on an actual Smurf character this time, and I think the pose is better where he's clicking his heels and waving to the crowd, holding his staff. And red is like a more bright, appealing Thanksgiving colour than white. I think Papa Smurf is just a better fit. I'm going to stick him in A. I really like the Papa Smurf balloon. It's a really nice balloon. It perfectly encapsulates Papa Smurf, and it even got a double comeback. It came back in the 2020s and then appeared in 2021 and 22. It had a little comeback for a bit. It's a really cool balloon. I like it. It's very well made. It's an improvement over the original Smurf, in my opinion. Now we have the Elf on the Shelf. This balloon is underrated, in my opinion. I just think it's perfect for the Elf on the Shelf character. It was one of the larger modern balloons made, and it appeared for a while. It appeared for like 9 consecutive appearances. It's not S tier, but I think Elf on the Shelf is A. I think it's the perfect Christmassy character balloon to have before Santa. He was always near the back of the lineup in the Christmassy part of the parade. I think having an elf character is pretty good. An Elf on the Shelf was popular at the time. He's still around to this day, but I just really like this Elf on the Shelf. I like the design, how he's tucking his legs in. Like, if he had his legs out, he'd be much longer. But obviously, he doesn't have his legs tucked out because he'd be breaking the Macy's parade height rules of nowadays if he had his legs out. So he has to tuck them in to keep in the rules. But yeah, anyway, pretty cool. A tier. Now we have Adventure Time's Finn and Jake. Definitely the best Cartoon Network balloon. That's also going in A. I just really like the design. I love Finn and Jake's design where they're bounding down the parade route. They look so much like the cartoons. Adventure Time was a show I enjoyed. I just really like this balloon. I think it's on par with this SpongeBob in terms of design. Just a really nice balloon. Definitely the best Cartoon Network. Better than Dexter in my opinion in terms of balloon design. Now we have Toothless the Dragon from How to Train Your Dragon. This balloon is a C. He's kind of just... He's better than these in here. But he's not as good as these in here. In my opinion, he's here. Slap bang in the middle in C. He's alright. I like him. I just think... Obviously his face doesn't have any emotion. He's kind of just a floating dragon. Anyway, next is the second Snoopy and Woodstock. And I love this balloon. It's one of my favourite Snoopies. It's definitely an A. It's not as good as this Snoopy and Woodstock in my opinion. But I do like how he's floating down horizontally with Woodstock just riding on him. I love this balloon design. It's a really good Snoopy. Like, the proportions are great. His snout is the correct length. His proportions are great. And Woodstock fits perfectly. Like, it just fits seamlessly into the balloon's design. I love this. It's one of my favourite Snoopies, for sure. Now we have Santa Hat SpongeBob, and I like it, but I think it's a really nice, well-made balloon, but I think I'm going to stick him in B. I love the detail of his mouth. It looks like a mouth from SpongeBob. I love how he's wearing a Santa hat. I love how his arms are a lot more reliable in this design than this design. Really nice. I like this SpongeBob. It's definitely a really good balloon, a really good addition to the parade in the years that it was in the parade. But yeah, it's definitely going to be in B. Now we have the Wizard of Oz hot air balloon. I prefer it over the 80th anniversary one, but it's still going to go in D tier. If I put this in C, do you think it fits with everything else that's in C? I don't think so, in my opinion. I think it fits better in the D category. I just think, obviously, The Wizard of Oz is a very popular film franchise, but like, I just think the hot air balloon design isn't very memorable. It's like it's been done before with so many flying trapezes, and they never seem to stick around for very long, hot air balloons, do they? So it's going in D. Now we have Paddington Bear, which this is when the first Paddington movie came out. This Paddington balloon is definitely a B in my opinion. I really like it. I'm surprised they've not brought this back a few times, considering how popular the Paddington movies actually are, and considering he's had 2 sequels, and there'll probably be a 4th Paddington movie, let's face it. So I'm surprised this balloon's never come back in any capacity since its 3-year run in the parade. But anyway, this Paddington is nice. It captures his movie design. He's got personality in his face. I like his hat, I like his suitcase, and I like his coat. So yeah, he's going in B. Now we have the second Pikachu, which I think is a bit of a step down from the original. He's small. They went for a more cuter, Christmassy design with this, but I just think it doesn't really match the proportions of a Pikachu, if that makes sense, of this Pikachu. But anyway, he's definitely in C tier. He's better than these in D. But yeah, he's going in C, in my opinion. Now we have the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. This balloon is sick. It's so big. It's one of the bigger balloons made in the modern era. And it's going in A. I love the pose of the Power Ranger. I love how it's doing its kicking. It's like doing its knee up and its arm punching. And it's like, it looks magnificent. I really like this Power Ranger. It appeared for quite a few years, didn't it? So I really like the Power Ranger balloon. It's definitely going in A tier. Now we have Skylanders Eruptor. Skylanders was a bit of a mid franchise, wasn't it? And the Eruptor balloon is kind of mid as well. I'm going to stick him in D. I just think out of all the video game characters that have been in the parade, well, mainly him and Pikachu and Sonic, he's kind of the worst one. He's just like, his design, they could have picked any Skylanders character and they picked Eruptor. Like, his arms are so big. I don't like how the colours blend. The colour blending isn't very good in my opinion. As in, like, when it meshes from orange to yellow to white, it just looks weird. I don't like it. D tier. Now we have Thomas the Tank Engine, an iconic franchise that I grew up watching on VHS, DVD, Milkshake, TV, you name it. Anyway, this Thomas is definitely an A tier balloon. It's such a unique balloon, it's such a unique shape. I love all the work they did, where they put all the wires inside to keep him at a square train shape. I love how he's curved. Like, he's obviously not a real train, is he? He's meant to be a balloon of a train, but he looks like a train and he looks like a balloon. I just love that. I love the steam coming out of him. I love his smile. I just like the curve. I know it's not what Thomas actually looks like, but I do like the curve in this Macy's Parade context, because it makes him look more like a balloon than just a model of a train, and I think that's what they were going for, and I think it's really good. So I am going to have Thomas the Tank Engine in A tier. Now we have Angry Birds Red, another video game character, but I think he's better than the first Pikachu and Eruptor, so I'm going to stick him in C. Obviously based off of the movie design. I really like it. He's like doing his angry face pose, running down the route with his egg. Pretty cool, C. Now we have the return of Sinclair's Dino for the first time in about 40 years. This Dino, I believe, is on par with the original. I like it. It's simple, it represents the Sinclair company's brand. It's going in A. There's a reason why Dino's stuck around in the modern era. He's just perfect for the Macy's Parade. He just fits in so well, and green is such a unique colour. Like, a lot of these balloons in the top are green, aren't they? Well, a lot of the balloons in all the tiers are green. Well, I don't know why I'm making that point, but anyway, I say just scratting his acorn. Definitely one of my favourite modern balloons, for sure. Let's move him up. He's definitely an S tier. I just love this design. He's just crazy for that acorn. The acorn looks exactly like it does in the movies. So does Scrat. He's going absolutely feral for that acorn. He's trying to chase it down the route. It's just such a well-made balloon. It's a shame that Blue Sky didn't sponsor it for more years, and even Disney haven't brought it back since Blue Sky folded. I hope they bring it back whenever Ice Age 6 comes out. I know that's in the works. Scrat and his acorn. It's a really, really nice balloon, in my opinion. Now we have this Ronald McDonald. I really like this Ronald McDonald. It's definitely one of my favourites of the Ronald McDonalds. His face proportions, he's smiley but he's not creepy. He's doing a jolly walking pose. He's definitely an A. Oh no, he's an S, actually. This is the best Ronald. Out of all the Ronalds, this is the best Ronald. It's got the best face, the best hairline, the best outfit. the best pose. I just think this Ronald is really, really good. They definitely stepped up with the Ronald design after the previous Ronald. This one's definitely miles above the previous Ronalds. It's definitely the best Ronald that's come, in my opinion. Now we have Charlie Brown and his kite. And I prefer this over Charlie Brown and his football because it's him tangled up in his kite and he has a lot more detail. He has a better facial expression. He's like, whoa, what am I doing? It's all clumsy. It's his clumsy character trait. I think this Charlie Brown goes in A. I just think this is... And he's got his hair as well. I know the original had the hair, but I just think it's a better design than the original, in my opinion. Now we have this Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and this is my favourite of the Diary of Wimpy Kids. There's a pattern here. The mid-2010s balloon seem to be my favourite of that character. This Diary of a Wimpy Kid is going in B. I really like it. I like how they added colour to him. That's one of my critiques with this one in C tier, is that there isn't much colour. While with this one, there's a lot of different colours going on. He's in a winter outfit, he's decking it, he's got his diary in his hand. Yeah, it's really nice. I like this balloon, it's going in B. Now we have Trolls. Another 3-character balloon. I like it. It's going in C. I don't think it's in B or D, but it's going in C. I like how it's 4 characters actually. I said 3-character. It's a 4-character balloon, isn't it? Get your facts right, Matt, for goodness sake. I really like how all 4 characters are on. There's Branch and Poppy and this Bug and the other guy that I can't remember the names. But anyway, it was in for 5 years, and yeah, it's a pretty notable balloon. I like it. C tier. Now we have Chase from Paw Patrol. I'm also going to stick Chase in C tier. He's not much better than any of these in C, but he's definitely better than the ones in D. My God. Chase, I like his design. I like how he's like bounding down the parade route like a dog with his police equipment and his police hat. It ran for 7 years. I like the Chase balloon. It's pretty cool. Now we have Dr. Seuss as the Grinch from Illumination. And here, this Grinch, to be honest, I think it's going to go in D. I think, again, with the Dr. Seuss characters, like the Cat in the Hat is based off of the Dr. Seuss design. If these two were based off the Dr. Seuss designs, they would be higher up. Like the Grinch had a Falloon in 97 that was based off the original design. If this was based off more the original design, it probably would rank higher, but obviously it's based off the Illumination movie design because they sponsored it. But I'm just not... It just doesn't look very Grinchy, does it? He's got a smile. He's got Max. Max is a bit expressionless in the sack, isn't he? I'm not the biggest fan. I do like the colours though. The colours are nice. That's why it's not in E or F. It's cool. It's D. Now we have Jet from Super Wings. I don't like this balloon. It's going in F. It's my first F tier in about 50 years. But I do not like this balloon. I just don't like it. It's short and stubby and wide. And it looked like, look at this picture of it next to Astronaut Snoopy. Jet is meant to be a giant balloon. Look how small he is compared to Snoopy. He's tiny. He's a midget. He's so small. I just can't back this design. I just do not like it at all. There's a lot to critique about it. It's in F tier. Now we have Olaf. This is a nice design balloon. I think Olaf goes in B. I really like the Olaf balloon's design. Obviously, Frozen was massive. Surprised it hadn't come back yet with Frozen 2, and I would be even more surprised if it didn't come back with Frozen 3, but anyway, whenever Disney retires Minnie Mouse, they could bring Olaf back for like a year to promote Frozen 3. I don't know. It's just a theory, but yeah, I like this Olaf. I like his nose, I like his buttons, and his poses. He's so happy that he's outside, in the sun, closest thing he gets to summer. But yeah, it's nice. Now we have Goku from 2018. This Goku is definitely one of the best modern balloons made, period. It's going in S tier. This Goku is sick. His pose is incredible. He's massive. He's a giant balloon. His blue hair fits the balloon so well. His outfit has so much detail. His muscles have so much detail. His arms have so much detail. It's so impressive. It's just such an impressive balloon. He's got to be an S tier. I can't put him in the same category as A or B. I can't do it. He's got to be here with the greats. He's one of the best modern balloons made, period. And I stand by that opinion. Now we have Astronaut Snoopy, and this, I love the astronaut outfit of Snoopy, but I think he's in the same tier as Flying Ace. And my reason is, because of the astronaut suit, he doesn't really look like Snoopy, does it? It looks like a dog in a spacesuit, but you can tell it's Snoopy because of the snout and the face and the eyes. But everything else is kind of obscured by the spacesuit. It's a bit he's a bit covered. Doesn't look like Snoopy a lot, apart from his face. But I do like the addition of the NASA logo and just the pose he's in and why he was in the parade. He's a cool balloon. He's C. Now we have Green Eggs and Ham. Now this balloon, one of the Dr. Seuss balloons I really like. I know it's based off of the Netflix show, but I really like this design because the Netflix show had the designs based on the Dr. Seuss designs. So it's already a step above Grinch and Horton. I really like this balloon. It's definitely going in C. The characters are quite small. Their necks were a bit floppy on parade day, but apart from that, they managed to get to the end. They only appeared once because Netflix only seemed to sponsor their balloons for a year and then just sack them off. Yeah, I'm sticking Green Eggs and Ham in C. Now we have SpongeBob and Gary, and I love Gary on this balloon, don't get me wrong. He's so smiley and happy, and he fits the balloon so well. But SpongeBob's design, I'm not as happy with. I like how they made his arms curved. That was a good decision, because whenever they make his arms straight, they just bend and buckle. So he's definitely my least favourite out of the SpongeBobs, but he was the oldest balloon in the parade last year. He did make 6 appearances, so he might not even be in the parade next year. He might have been retired already, but we don't know yet until closer to the time, do we? So I'm going to stick him in C. I just think as each SpongeBob's gone on, they've got like worse and worse. But it's not a bad balloon at all, it's really good. I love Gary. Gary probably carries this. If it were just SpongeBob on his own in this pose, it probably would be D or even E. But SpongeBob in this pose with Gary on his back, it definitely adds to the balloon. So yeah, C tier. Red Titan from Ryan's World, F. Boring, just no personality to this balloon. Well, it has a smile and he's in a superhero pose, but just, I can't stand it. I just do not like this balloon at all. It just looks so clunky and janky and weird. I don't like it. I don't like it. We're out of the Raven Aerostars era now with Boss Baby. I think Boss Baby's going in D. He just looks so smug, doesn't he? He's very small, obviously meant to be a baby, but I think the balloons in C tier are better than Boss Baby. I don't really like this balloon. I think if his face was a bit less smug and a bit more cutesy, I might have put it in C, but he's just a bit too smug. He wasn't this smug in the films, was he? Or at least not to my memory. But he was quite smug, yeah, but I just think the face is a bit off. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Ada Twist Scientist, pretty much the only Netflix balloon that's appeared for more than 1 year. I'm also going to stick in... You know what, I'm going to put it in E. Its head kept deflating. Just couldn't hold helium in her head. And she's just... I don't know. I just don't like the proportions of it. Her head's massive with her hair, and then her arms and her body's like really small. It's just a really bizarre balloon, in my opinion. I'm not the biggest fan of her. Grogu, on the other hand, I would have preferred if this was like the actual Grogu, but Funko Pop Grogu getting a C. I love how he's chasing the knob switch from Mandalorian because he's obsessed with it in the series. But yeah, Grogu's getting a C. It is a cute balloon. The Funko Pop aspect is cute, and I don't think any other character would have fit well with a Funko design because Funko have the black eyes on the characters, don't they? And pretty much every character apart from Grogu doesn't have black eyes, so it kind of fits Grogu well. So yeah, definitely C tier. Now we have Pikachu and Eevee, and I don't like it. Pikachu's even smaller now, riding a sled with Eevee on the back. I just think I'm going to put it in E. I don't really like this balloon. I know we're well and truly into the signs and shapes era of balloons, but I don't really like this Pikachu. I just think Pikachu's ears are too big. His head's too small. He's just tiny, and like the sled, Pokeball sled is a bit, looks like something else, to be perfectly honest. And Eevee, it's a cool inclusion having a different Pokemon besides Pikachu, but I don't know. I can't get by this. I think all the other Pikachu designs are better than this one. And we have Ronald McDonald now, the most recent Ronald McDonald that's appearing. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the face on this one. The face is very, he's gone back to a bit more of a creepy design here. But do I think he's better than Ice Skate Ronald? Yes. Do I think he's better than OG Ronald? No. So I'm going to put him in B. Love Heart Ronald is going in B. I like him. He's a pretty cool balloon. He's very well designed. His outfit is cool. But I just think all the other Ronalds are better than him. Now we have Bluey. Bluey, this is a very well made balloon. I'm also going to stick Bluey in B. I like how Bluey... Well, originally it was just Bluey, wasn't it? Later on they added the little balloon that she's chasing. But yeah, Bluey is obviously a big cultural phenomenon. Obviously the show's over now, but Bluey is a really good show. I wish, if only I had kids at this time, because I would genuinely love watching this show with my children, but I don't have any children, so I can't do that. But yeah, anyway, B tier. I really like the design of Bluey. It captures the cartoon so well. Anyway, we've got this Diary of a Wimpy Kid, based on the Disney show. I don't like it. It's going in F. The cheese is... I know it's meant to be the cheese touch moment, but the cheese is just there. It looks absolutely grotesque. I know that's meant to be what it looks like, but it just doesn't look appealing. And him going to prod and poke the cheese, and his face is like frowny. He's not like it's not like the previous balloons where it resembles the books and he looks like a wimp. Here he's just like, ooh, I wonder what the cheese is. I want some cheese, Gromit. You know, it's like that. It's just, I just do not like this. I don't like the Disney Plus Diary of a Wimpy Kids, and this is based off of that. I don't like it. I prefer the white book design. Anyway, we have Dino and Baby Dino. I really like this balloon. It's up there with the other Sinclairs. Definitely an A. You can't really go wrong. Obviously, it doesn't look as dinosaur-y as the previous Dino. It's got more of a round face, hasn't it? But yeah, the addition of Baby is really cute. But I like how they kept the balloon the same size as the original and added to it. I really like that. So yeah, it's going in A. Now we have Stuart the Minion. And I'm surprised they didn't bring the Minions to the Macy's Parade sooner. But here we are. Stuart is finally in. I do like this balloon. It is going in A. As much as the Minions are obnoxious and annoying, it's the perfect Minion design. It's got a 3D printed man who's screaming for his life. That is absolutely hilarious. That is so funny. It's like he's picked up one of his balloon handlers and he thinks he's an actual banana. It's incredible. The design is really good. If they were going to put Minions in, I would have liked something like this. I'm not saying I like the Minions, by the way. I'm just saying I like the Stuart balloon. I'm ranking the balloons here, not the characters. I'm ranking the balloons based on their designs. That's what this video is. I'm not saying Stuart is a better character than Cheezosaurus Rex, or the Grinch. What I'm saying is it's a better balloon, you know what I mean? Before I get cooked in the comments. Now we have Beagle Scout Snoopy, and this Snoopy is good. I think he's in C, but he's better than Astronaut and Flying Ace, so I'm going to put him in B. I like this Snoopy. It's my least favourite of the balloons that have Woodstock included, but yeah, I like it. I like his hat. I like how his ears flop under the hat. They haven't got rid of his ears, because like I've said before, when they get rid of Snoopy's ears, he just doesn't really look like Snoopy. Don't know why. But yeah, this one still looks like Snoopy. I like it. It's a really nice, clean design. It's in B. Now we have the second Kung Fu Panda, which is a huge step up from the original Kung Fu Panda, in my opinion. But this Kung Fu Panda goes into A. I really like it. The Kung Fu pose is better. The detail on the clothes are better. The face looks more like the Kung Fu Panda face. He's got a nice hat on. He's got his cape. Yeah, it's just better. It's just so much better. If the original balloon was this, it would be here. But the original is just off in many ways. I prefer the second Kung Fu Panda a lot better. Now we have Leo. Leo, I think his pupils are too big compared to the Leo in the movie, and he doesn't have a lot of detail on him compared to the Leo in the movie. So if he was more scaly like a lizard and had smaller eyes, I think he would go in B or A. But because he's got a lack of detail compared to the movie, his face is like a bit out of proportion compared to the movie. It just looks a bit off. So I am going to stick Leo in D. Now we have Luffy. This is a really nice balloon. It's not an F tier. It's definitely in B at least. I know I'm going to put it in A. I love the big fist. I love the hat detail. I love the face. I just love this character's design. It fits in the Macy's Parade very well. Toei Animation cooked here with this, just like with the original Goku. So yeah, this is really nice. And we have the new Pillsbury Doughboy from 2023. Not gonna lie, a bit of a downgrade from the original, but I guess Pillsbury wanted to change the design because they stuck with this one for 14 years. I guess they wanted to change it up a bit. I like it, but do I like it, this Pillsbury Doughboy? I think I'd only rank him lower based on comparing it to the original. On its own, it's a C. I like the design. He's still got the puffed out belly, but he's in his more curious pose. He's not like out there jumping with joy. He's like curious, like, oh, I wonder what's down there. You know, I'm not as big of a fan of this doughboy. And now we are on to the 2024 balloons. Extraordinary Nora in the Elf Shelf. I don't like this balloon. I just think Nora is so big and obnoxious compared to the elf on the shelf. Compared to this elf on the shelf, that's like big. This elf on the shelf is really, really small. And Nora is huge. I know this balloon didn't perform well in its test flight, and when the weather was a bit off in the 2024 parade, they actually pulled it from the lineup. So it hasn't had a proper run in the parade yet, but I don't like this balloon. It's an E. It's better than these, but I'm not the biggest fan. Same with Gabby. I think Gabby's an E. I like how they've done a vertical design though. I will give it props. I like how Macy's have started doing vertical designs again, because they kind of stopped doing that for a while after 1997. But I like how they're doing vertical balloons again. It makes them look tall. It makes them look big, rather than horizontal ones. But I'm going to stick Gabby in D tier. The next Goku, I'm also going to stick in D tier. I'm not as much of a fan of this Goku as this Goku. I just think the extra details have gone. I think his pose isn't as epic. He's kind of just saluting down to the crowd now. His hair's black. It just doesn't look as nice as the original. Even without the original, I'd still put it in D. I just think the charm isn't there with this one. I think it's a bit more based on a 2D drawing rather than trying to make a 2D drawing 3D. Anyway, we have Marshall from Paw Patrol, which I believe is better than Chase. I think I'm going to stick Marshall in B. I like the design of Marshall. I think he's got a better face. He's got a lot of detail on him. He's like he's bounded down like a dog again. I just think this Marshall balloon is nicer than the Chase. As much as Chase lasted a while and Chase is alright, I think Marshall's balloon is better. Now we have Minnie Mouse. Minnie Mouse is one of the best balloons that Macy's have brought out in a while. It's definitely the best signs and shapes balloon so far. It's in S tier. Minnie Mouse is in S tier. Just the proportions of Minnie are just perfect. I mean, at first I was a bit creeped out by the face, like the eyes are really long and the mouth is it's like a very long face. But as time has gone on, I've kind of warmed up to Minnie Mouse. I love the bow tie and a polka dot dress and the pose. So cutesy and really nice. I just love this balloon. It's definitely the best Signs and Shapes balloon so far. And if this balloon appeared for 10 years straight, a balloon hasn't appeared for 10 years straight, by the way, since Clifford. 10 years since Clifford. So if this balloon was the next one to appear for 10 years, I wouldn't complain. It's such a really nice balloon. And Disney have cooked with this. So yeah, definitely S tier. Marvel and Disney and Macy's cooked with these two. This Spider-Man is sick. It's doing its spider web. It's like flying down the route with its legs. And it's not like crawling down the route with these two. It's like he's about to do a web onto a building. And yes, the eyes are smaller, but I really like that. It looks more like the OG comic books. It looks sick. Like, all these balloons in here are amazing. But yes, I finally got to the end. This is all of my balloon rankings on the tier list. So we've got these guys in F, these guys in E, a bit better than the F ones, but still, not a big fan. D, I like them, but they're kind of alright, but they're just off it in one way or another. C tier are average. There's not too much to complain about, but there's not too much to praise either, so they're like in the middle of the list. Then there's the B tier, which I do like more than the C tier, but yeah, these are just really nice balloons again. A tier, really, really good balloons, but like, there's just one or two things that stop them from being in S tier. And then there's S tier. These balloons are just immaculate. I absolutely love these ones, and this would be my ideal fan-picked parade lineup, is these guys.
Thank you all so much for watching this video to the very end. If you agree with my picks or disagree with any, please do leave me a comment. I want to hear your feedback. And also, with the tier list publicly available, you can make your own tier list. This is my video at the end of the day. These are my opinions. You have your own opinion. If you want to share your own opinion, use the tier list in the description. But yes, let me know if I've had any absolute stinkers or if I've had any absolutely golden picks. But regardless, if you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like. If you didn't, do whatever. Please subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Goodbye.